if you can. Uh-oh.
Boom, boom, boom. Greetings and salutations.
Beautiful people, welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And YouTube, hurry up, bro. We got a show to do. There's small cap gappers that we need to be punching into, but we also gotta shout out the OG Nimit Palantir. Shout out to you, my man Nimit. Where's my keychain at? I always have my keychain ready for when Nimit's in the chat. I'll find it in a bit. We got Gorev. We got your mom's stock broker.
Ooh.
Okay. We got Covalence. How about Jenny? Jake, Roberts, Snake, Oscarito. We got Cisco. We got Sean, Omar, Scott H, Alex, Vinay, Other Dang Zinc. We got Arthur. We got Stuart. Hula. We got my man Fat Figure. What's going on, older bro? We got Alaric B, Carter, Jayos, Sam Gray, my bad. The Tranquil channel. You are on the wrong channel if you're looking for the Tranquil channel. Yeah. Whether Sean is or I'm on, we're neither of us is Tranquil. So, Trejo. We got Nephew, the capital P. We got A. Wheeler, Joseph Wilson. We got, who is this?
Who's that?
Saturn Jeet. Okay. All right, my man, Saturn Jeet. Tilster. Ooh. Katina, man. Hanu View. Trade to thrive. My bad. We got Turkish. Who else, man? Come on, let's go. Fabrio. We got All Things Trump. I wonder who he likes. Desi Junction.
Okay.
Twin Cuties. Boom. Joseph's printing over there. Trave Man. And one more here. Carlos Senas, Joseph. Now let's hear about that trade, my boy.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that trade, but first things first, Sharif. Did you see your boy Teofimo hopped out of the? He backed out of the fight.
Why?
Already.
I heard that Devin Haney signed his thing already.
Personal issue. So there you go. There you go. Okay. Another big W for the world of boxing, right there, guys.
No good.
Yeah, it's definitely a no good. Good morning, and I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. I had a great one. It was actually one of the nicer ones that we've had in the summer. So I got to spend outside all day, and you guys know that's my vibe. I'm outside, people. Get the work done, but then we also like to be outside and enjoy the weather and the nature and everything. Screens are great. But we've got to get involved with nature as well too. So I mean, let's get right into what we got cooking up here, guys. I just added to this position, but let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a trade standpoint. All right, so I was just hyper focused on Bitcoin. I was talking to you guys last week. I said when we sit on top of this range here from a daily perspective, I think that we're going to get that continuation and that move. So that's exactly what I was looking for, and I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. All right, so here was my first trade here on the day. Guys, started relatively small, and then as soon as we crack the lows, I hop out. So I start the day 0 for 1, no problem. Just sit back, be patient, and you can see for a span of about another 5-10 minutes or so, I'm just sitting here waiting, right? I'm not forcing anything, I'm not hopping in, I'm waiting for price action to tell me to get back in. And then you know how I operate. When my trades are working, I try to make them as large as I possibly can. So there we go. There we go, Katina, man. You see that one? Yeah. And I was gonna message you. We put some nice there. So there we go. This position, I start here. I then double it up. I then add again, and then at this point, I'm literally 5 times the amount that I started with right here. I'm 5x. I have 5 times the amount of shares that I initially started with. There we go, exactly, and that's exactly what we needed to do. And then now I've added a little bit to this position on that pullback. I was getting hyped with Katina, man. I wanted to tell him, hey man, like check this out, but again, we gotta act like we've done it before. Katina Man's doing it on a daily basis. Shreve, everyone, Neil, this is what we do, this is our job, and I just wanna be able to bring to you guys, and that's why I'm precise. You say, it's like, Joe, get into something, but I'm like, no, be patient, right? Because good things take a little while to cook up here, and that's exactly what we got going on here with Bitcoin today, guys. So this one's working out really, really well. Started out 0 for 1, and then when we had a working position, we are literally 5 times the amount that we originally started with. So 5. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Gene Stevenson. Yeah, I wish. I mean, imagine if I only had 5 shares, then unfortunately I would not have that amount of outs. But yeah, we took some off. I'm still currently sitting on approximately 20% of my remaining position, including what I've just added. So I'm looking for this to break this previous pivot or get somewhere close to these highs and establish either a new high a day or a lower high. But throughout that process, I will be slowly taking shares off. So there we go. A nice move there on Bitcoin. Sharif, love seeing this, brother. We're going to trim a little bit off here for the peeps. We'll take it off right there. What a day we're putting on. The streak continues. Your boy got some sun on the weekend. We're living large, man.
All right, man. We're in a couple of positions. Let's talk about them right now. I've worked my way into NA. I'll talk about that one in a second. But the new one I'm involved in right now, NEGG. This one is kind of intense. So it just dropped aggressively from 1745 into the volume weighted average price. It did find some support at this $14 level, but it's really giving it up in an aggressive way. So I'm kind of concerned that this loses 14. I've punched in at 14 and a half. I'm waiting for this one to either hold that $14 level or I'm going to get the hell out of there. So there you go. It already a quick L. There you go. This one really flushes off that 1745 high. It doesn't hold VWAP. It doesn't hold the 10. And then it loses basically every level that I had there right there. So we'll get out of this one. NEGG. So keeping my eye on this one as it really flushes quite aggressively at this level. So I'll talk about this one in a second. NA is the one I'm talking about. My goodness, the spread on this one is prohibitive. It's still not letting me in. There we go. So now let's set up over here, and then we'll set up all the way to down here. And then how many shares we got? So we got that many. So we'll put a stop for that one. And then, so I've got 20s on right now. So that's what I got to set up. I got to set up on this one to the high side. Let's set up some here at 40s. And then we'll also set up some at 69. So I got to set up on this one. Excuse me for a second. Now, NA. This one is putting in higher highs and higher lows. No beak wetters on NA as of yet. But it is respecting the 10 exponential moving average. What do we got on NA? We've got 56s. It's showing me 64s. It's got resistance, you can tell, at $11, even though it did take out $11 on a technical basis, $11.47 high a day, and then it just, you know, kind of putting in a bit of a compression pattern. Maybe a flat top break through $11. We'll have to wait and see on this one. Now, let's go back to NEGG, because this one's taking out all my orders to the high side here. So we add aggressively back at 14, and here it is right back into 14.44. There's a seller here in the low 40s, so let's go ahead and take out some there, and we'll set up some at 65 as well. So we got shares on this one, but it's going to have to hold this area. Otherwise, if it drops below 14 again, that's going to be the end of the trade. There is a seller of note here at 14.44 about, and you can tell it's the same seller because they've got the same amount of lots posted on 2 different gateways. Let's see if we can shake them. This one is a bit of a spready one, so you're going to have to be careful with this one when you're trading it. Don't be a schmuck like me and get caught with that spread getting and taking out a lot of my orders. So NEGG in focus. Now we're taking out the orders to the high side here on NA. We're at 70. I've got 56 on. We've got 3 candles with higher lows, but none has taken out that candle's high at 10.55. So that high ended up going into, I want to say, I don't know why it's not showing me here when I mouse over, about 10.80 or so, so about 10 pennies higher than there. Yeah, I just got to log in. Are we already have an ad?
No, soon. They just said just to make sure there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not. I'll have to log in a second. Okay. I'm just going to concentrate here for a second. And then, so we're going to keep an eye on NEGG. That is the bigger position that I have over here. And I am concerned about that seller at 44. Alas, we have kind of found some support at 14. We've got 1 minute left on this 5-minute candle. So I want to see exactly how the subsequent candle opens because this one really flushed aggressively. 17.45 high. That was a topping till candle, and then it absolutely tanked to the downside. It looks like it did find support, ironically, and we've been making a joke about this lately, at the 20 exponential moving average, which is not a level that I typically use, but that I've been noticing it's been in vogue a lot more lately. Why, I have have no idea, but that's kind of not really my problem. The fact is it's holding support at the 20. Now I am concerned. Anything below 13.5, obviously there's going to be a lower high and a lower low, and I don't want any of that smoke. So we're going to keep tabs on that one. I've already put my stop in play. Go ahead, Joseph. I'll just sign in here.
Yeah, screen. We'll pull up the screen there, guys. I just caught this fill right at 40s as well. So that ad working out relatively nice for us, guys. So a fantastic execution so far today by me. I mean, so again, it's either, imagine I'm just adding into this and then it doesn't work. You don't, again, it's just another trade. We talk about it all the time. There's always going to be a bigger and better one. But again, just trying to execute, sticking to the game plans. And I was talking to you guys last week about my thesis on Bitcoin as well. So there you go. We sat on top of the daily range, and now this is what we're looking for, the continuation and strength. I woke up this morning and Bitcoin was in the high 107s. So I'm like, okay, this thesis is starting to work out, and here we go. So entry number one right here, guys, and we take a small stop out, and then boom, we just really swing the bat on this trade right here, and then I add right at the lower end of this range. So yeah, really nice trade. Let's see what else we're finding. I was looking at Tesla as well too this morning, guys. I missed the opening drive. Yeah, appreciate it. I much appreciated everyone in the chat. Thanks, Skull. Thanks, Big Smile, and everybody. Yeah, Christopher Jones, let's go Bitcoin. Absolutely. I know we got a lot of Bitcoin fans in here. So it's funny. I was watching some CNBC on the weekend, yesterday to be exact, and Sharif did. You wouldn't even believe the numbers that Michael Saylor. I heard this guy saying that he thinks Bitcoin can reach by 2045.
Oh boy, what did he say now?
Dude, he said $13 million by 2045.
2045.
Yeah, so about 20 years.
20 years.
20 years from now, 13 million.
Yeah, they always sound ridiculous until you're close to that number, right?
Right, it sounds crazy until you really, and it's like, can you even, I don't even know what the market cap would be at that point, because we already did it for $1 million a coin, and it would by far it'd be tied with gold, I think, at that standpoint. But if it went to 3 million, it'd probably be the most valuable asset class, most definitely on the planet. And then also Tom Lee, I was listening to Tom Lee, Saylor and Tom Lee having a conversation as well too, with Tom Lee having a target of around $2.5 million in the next couple of years by the end of the next halving cycle. I believe that was that case. So a lot of bullish thesis. You just got to go with the flow. It's either going to do it or it's not, right? So again, you just want to stay focused, regardless of what it is, believe in it or not. Just look to trade and look to take advantage of these. I love the fact that we got IBIT here now, and I remember the day I seen that IBIT was optionable. I messaged Sharif bright and early in the morning, and I'm like, let's go. This thing is now optionable, which I did grab some more contracts this morning too. And there we go. We're getting another big time pop here in Bitcoin as we crack through that high day there, guys. And you've seen me take a little bit off the top right there too. So really good look. Solid trading here on Bitcoin. We're just going to ride this wave until it comes back to our break even. My average is now 61.14s, as you can see. So if it dumps and comes against me, then so be it. But we don't have too much left of this position, about 10% now, Sharif.
Great trades there, Joseph.
Yeah,
good look, man. All right, we're in a new position, KLTO. This is the one that Neil brought to you guys. It came into the 20 exponential at the 110 area, and it's kind of in between the 10 and the 20. We've gotten one quick beak wetter. Let's see if we can get some more here. I've put a tight stop below prior bar low. Prior bar low takes us down to about 106. We're showing 23s right now. It's not a bad look, but it's not rocketing up with the same vigor or with the same strength that it had previously. So now we know that there's a lot of bag holders all the way up into possibly even higher, that $1.63. The reason I say that $1.63, that is the current high at day. It's having trouble holding on to this current area high. So the prior candle had a high of, why is it not showing me the hover overs today? About a $1.21, $1.20. This current candle has a high of 123. That's been my only out on this one. So let's see what this one brings. But NA is losing the bid right now. So we are out of the money right now on NA. Now this one I will defend into about $10, even though it has a lower high pattern that is of concern to me. So NA, lower high, but it also has higher lows. Okay, well, we just got stopped out of NA. So I put my stop a little bit too tight there, I think. I'll keep my eye out on this one. If it does come back into that $10, I want to say between $9.80 to $10, I'm picking it up there. So let's go ahead and set up an order for, let's go for maybe in between 10 and VWAP. I want to say 988. So I'm going to wait it around 988 for what I think could be a money fill. Let's wait around there. Now, if we don't get it, that's fine. I'll keep my eye on that one for another move up. So KLTO, NA out of that at the moment, and then NEGG. This one is going to be an interesting trade here. So we've got a doji candle that closed at 1110. That's neither, bullish nor bearish. I just don't know which way this cookie crumbles. It looks like we are on the way down. It looks like we lost the volume weighted average price, and there really hasn't been any buying of note. Moving it back to the high side. So this is a bit of a concern to me right now on NEGG. If it continues below 14, we're going to get stopped out there. Let's keep an eye out, though, on KLTO as it moves right back up into that $123. Can it make a first 5-minute candle to make a new high above that 123 area? Look at the amount of chop and churn that's taking place at that $123 right now. So a lot of aggressive selling at this 23 penny area. So it looks like all these ones are really being pushed down. There's really no bid right now on a lot of them. I'm keeping my eye on NVTS, UMAC maybe, but all these small cap gappers really being kept down. Nothing really finding that aggressive follow through that we've seen in the last few weeks. So looks like I could get stopped out of NEGG as we watch KLTO struggle with that $123, Joseph, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that.
Good look there. And Los Pollos, yeah, nice score. Let's see if that short works out for you. I mean, there is some indecision on the 1 minute there on Tesla, so I like that look. So there you go. You have your risk profile also defined as well. You could just use a little bit above that high, and then if you're wrong, then you can just hop out, wait for some more indecision, and then look for that continuation. And guys, I told you last week on Friday I closed out my CRM swing as well too, so that worked out relatively well for us there. On Salesforce there, guys. And then, yeah, we're still long Bitcoin, and I agree with you, Los Pollos. Yeah, it has been. It truly has been a really, really nice trade for me. I mean, my average is literally 105.90 on NVDA, so I can't complain. As soon as that downtrend cracked, then I started to grab some shares and even contracts on that, and it worked out well. And I'm still holding on to a fraction of them, just letting it ride for that break of the all-time high, and then head into some new price discovery. Maybe we'll add a little bit more just for a scalp, and then we'll just take that off. But then it is FIFO too, right? So then that'll just drastically lift my average up, and I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. So maybe we'll go contracts. We'll figure that out when it comes time. But right now my hyper focus is on Bitcoin, looking for the continuation. I mean, we can pull up spot to see what we got going on from a daily standpoint and break down exactly what I was referring to and just my thought process too, right? Like considering the run that we've been on here, guys, and then just looking at the price action, this is what I was talking about. And the thing is, yeah, I'm trading IBIT, and you have to wait until the market actually opens, or early at 4 a.m. You can look to get involved. But this is what I was referring to. So we go on this nice run here, a nice stair step. It was time for a pullback, and right around those all-time highs, I figured that we were going to get that. So here we go. We get this pullback here, really nice and healthy. This is exactly what you want to see as some key support levels are being held. But then this is exactly what I was mentioning, is the fact just wait until this candle opens up on top of that range, and then look for that continuation. Can it fail? Absolutely. But with this style of pattern, what I'm looking for is that break of now to construct a new all-time high. But if we breach this, then I'll just hop out of the contracts that I just bought. I have no worries. I feel absolutely no way about that whatsoever. It's either one thing happens or the other, and I'm content with just sitting here waiting, letting it play out, and not micromanaging certain things. So that's what I'm looking at. It may take a couple of days or whatever, it may a week or two, but that's fine. We're going to sit in this. It's either going to come to my stop loss, or it's going to head into price discovery, where it's going to give me the ability to add more into the position as well too. All right, so take that into consideration. But as of right now, this is what we're cooking on. With this Bitcoin trade, I don't see anything right now that I particularly want to get involved with. I did like this consolidation zone on Tesla, and then that breakthrough, and the volume was there, but now we're coming back into the middle of the range, and the market's slightly pulling back. One positive thing here, Bitcoin's still holding up relatively strong. Absolutely. All right, we're taking some prints here on KLTO, but it's still really having trouble continuing up. So even though it's like what looks like the beginning of a V-shaped recovery, I'm a little suspicious of at the moment. I mean, we're just being met with aggressive selling at
every basically 1 penny level right now on KLTO. In fact, we're right back at that $1.23 that we couldn't shake. I don't think this is the right trade for me at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up my stop even tighter than it was before. I'm going to move it up from the prior bar low into basically at 14s. Let's see if we can get something on this one. I'm not that hopeful on it. It's just really thickly traded at every single level that you can post at, and anything above a buck you can post at basically every 1 penny. So I am quite suspicious of this, and I'm going to stop out here, break even. So going to keep my eye on that. NA didn't get filled on, sadly. I didn't even come down into the volume weighted average price nor 10, so we'll keep tabs on that. NEGG finally coming up into the high side here. Let's set some profit takers at 30, and then I'm going to layer like every 5 pennies or so, just because I have a lot of shares on this one. So looking to scalp out if this one does come aggressively to the high side again. Volume weighted average price on NEGG is 1450. So with that in mind, since we lost VWAP, but for whatever reason, again, finding support at the 20 exponential, I want to be able to de-risk in front of that 1450, which is also the volume weighted average price. That could be 2 levels of resistance that I have to shake. Now, this one is a bit spready. It's got a 20 penny spread right now on a $14 name that is quite wide for NEGG. It's done a decent amount of shares on the day, almost 3 million, just about 150,000 shares shy of that 3 million, but we're still kind of, you know, we're earlier in the trading day. We still haven't really gotten all that deep, so we'll keep an eye out on this one. Definitely not looking for any new bar lows, okay? If we start getting lower lows on this one, I'm gonna have to cut the position quite quickly, rather than trying to dollar cost average into an oblivion. So that's what I've got on my watch right now. I also did see another one by the ticker of KWM, which also has a nice move on the day, about 34% currently, obviously higher at the highs. It does come into the volume weighted average price at around a little bit less than 450, at about mid 440s or so. Now it's trying to kind of find support there, work its way back up, maybe above that 460 area. Even though it is finding support at volume weighted average price for the moment, it's still putting in lower highs. So that downtrend of lower highs still intact on this one. So nothing really to get all excited about. Yeah, so there's a lot of weakness right now in small cap gapper world as a lot of them retrace below key levels. UMAC is the one that I've been kind of keeping my eye on. I haven't traded this one quite yet. It did kind of break trend here momentarily. Like you can kind of see the higher low, higher high trend. And that's normal because that was the open, and the open is obviously a little more volatile. The point of this one is it's very clean in the higher low, higher high, upward channel kind of setup. The problem with this one is once it makes new highs, it tends to retrace aggressively, but the retracement is kind of predictable in the sense that you can find support at that lower trend line. So keep your eye on UMAC, could be an interesting one as well. So we'll keep tabs on that, Joseph.
Good look there, brother. Yeah, Jay Lee, I gotta be patient, right? I'm not just gonna hop into the Q short. I mean, I don't see anything from a pattern recognition standpoint for me to say, hey, go short here, especially with some of these names, right? Like looking like they want to continue to climb higher. Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily, eat my words quick, because NVDA is starting to pull back, but see if the opening lows can hold, right? So that's what I would be looking for. Once that opening price, if that's cracked and you break through some of these key support levels, maybe you'll head to the downside. With that being said, let's take a look at the options chain to see what that's telling us from an open interest perspective, because I think that is extremely, extremely important. And we're gonna go over a couple things on what I was looking at on IBIT as well too, guys. So no, that's not what I want. That's not the expiration cycle that I'm looking at. Okay, so where did we put in a high a day here? And I'm gonna ask you guys. All right, 144.92. For those who have access to the options chain on this week's expiration cycle, where do we have the highest levels of open interest? We put in a high of 144.92. I'm giving you guys a hint. Put it in the chat if you guys have access to the chain. Where do you see the most levels of open interest? Because this is exactly what we're looking for. Why are we stalling? Why have we reject those specific levels? And I'll just say 145, right? It's that obvious. 67,900 open contracts, 67,900 open contracts. Sorry there, guys. That is going to be the largest on this week's expiration. So you can see we've already knocked on the door of that. We have now rejected that. So that's why keeping an eye on the options chain is extremely important. And the one thing that I want to note as well, too, is that we've seen IBIT start to struggle. So here we go. So there we go. Right there. 67.90. That's where we have high levels of OI. Now we put in a high of 144.92. Okay, so there you go, rejecting that level relatively aggressively. Now let's take a look at the IBIT contracts and see where we just have a slight supply zone as well. All right, so that's why we were struggling in the low 60s, because as soon as we had 61 to 63, there is somewhat supply, and I'm just talking about from a general standpoint, right? Relative to all these other contract sizes, this is a zone that we want to keep an eye out on for, and we might struggle through those areas there. So yeah, that's what I'm keeping my eye on. If we punch through and head to 62, then I'm thinking by the end of the week, we can have that magnet effect to some of these high levels. And then sure enough, we can obviously blow past them, or we're going to reject and come back into a specific zone. And then with that being said, if we do decide to reject those levels, you now go to the put side to look for a specific floor where you're going to try to find somewhat of a bounce in the underlying asset. All right, so just keep an eye out on those things. Open interest is key. Yeah, there you go, day trader cut. I know you're paying attention. 145 is where we see about 70,000 open contracts, and then that's acting as a call wall. We run into 144.92, rejected slightly aggressively, and now we're trading below the volume weighted average price there.
All right, guys, Goss stopped out of any double G, so we are going 0 for 3 to start the day here. All of the ones I'm looking at are giving up the levels, so I'm gonna have to be really careful from going on. It's really UMAC, the only one that's really not breaking down and staying above or staying and holding trend. UMAC, it trades on the Amex, so you have to have the Amex permissions in order to weasel into this one. But this is kind of what I see on UMAC. I see wide range per candle. I see a lot of volatility on this one. Again, like I mentioned, I think that the only real level that I would want to pick this up at is towards the lower end of the trend, the lower end of the downward channel. So look around 910, 915, with maybe the profit taking towards the higher end, like I'm talking about that 9.5. That's still supposing that we clear that 938 high a day. That's still the level that we can't shake at the moment. So we'll keep tabs on that for now. We're going to go up to Adira at the big desk.
GRPN, this is Groupon. Nice little push to the downside here. Going to get a short report from something called the Captain's Log. They are a market-based newsletter. It looks like they do a lot of these short reports. This short report is called Groupon has become a GLP-1 affiliate marketing and bootleg Microsoft Office racket. So even the title here, pretty incendiary. Keep an eye on GRPN. Trying to take out some of these, I guess, levels from Friday now. Back to you.
I totally forgot that company even existed, man. Do you ever use Groupon anymore?
No.
Oh man,
I never really got into.
Like, I used to see like interesting deals, like I don't know, like different restaurants when they open up, they want to do promotions and stuff like that.
Get you in the door and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just don't go on it anymore. Kind of like a dead thing now. All right, guys. UNCY. I also see one as this one as an interesting area and an interesting name to get into. The only issue with UNCY is it's at that dollar. And it's it's literally at that dollar, 99.75, $1 changing by the second. It's above VWAP, it's above the 10 exponential. So if you're looking at what the indicators are telling you, and if you're also looking at the price action, it's at the right area. So let's give this one a try. Volume weighted average price on this one's around a little bit higher than 95 pennies. So let's see if we can get something on here, and we'll have to risk around 5 pennies, obviously, in order to weasel into that. UNCY is the ticker. Trying to get into this over here. There we go. So we'll throw the stop just below that 95 penny area. We'll put it at 94, and we'll see if we can actually hold that area, because we haven't been holding any of my stops on the day. So yeah, we're definitely negatory on the day, and we have to do a little bit better now because, well, we're negative. So let me just second over here, setting up all my screens. So where is my UNCY trade? Yeah, so we want to put this one for the 95 penny level to hold that area. Now, this is obviously a bit of a risk because we haven't decidedly cleared that dollar yet, right? We're a little bit above that dollar. We got to that $1.10, and now we're kind of like in no man's land. A little bit above a dollar, a little bit below. So we'll see which way this cookie crumbles. Also keeping my eye, as I mentioned, on NA, even though we got stopped out of that one originally, it is finding its way right back. So this one didn't actually come back into that $10 area or the volume weighted average price. So I am kind of concerned about trying to punch in here at NA at local highs. We're currently showing 1060. It's got a wider spread, 67 on the ask, 53s on the bid, and here comes 69 now on the ask. So it has put in 4 candles, higher highs and higher lows. So which way do I go with this one? Kind of hard to know, man. They're bamboozlers today, these small cap gappers. So let's try to get something maybe around the $0.50. Now that we've cleared it substantially, we'll start with a small position here. We'll wait at 51, see if we can get something at 51s. I don't mind averaging into the $0.25 on this one because it's shown you its propensity to hold above 10. So I'm going to throw another order there for around the $0.25. I'm going to front run the $0.25 in just around like 29 or so, and we'll see what we get in and around that level. Keeping my eye on UNCY as it holds below that $1 area, but again, still above the 10 exponential and VWAP. It's UMAC that I want to figure my way into, and I just don't know how. I just want to make sure that the trend is still being respected here, and the current trend is showing me supported around 915. Let's give that one a try. We'll go 915 on UMAC. If we can pick up something there, possibly at a money fill, we'll see what we get there. NA is moving back up to the high side on that. So let's see if we can extract some profits here on NA. Oh, wow, we're not even in NA, man. It didn't allow either of my entries in.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's just going here, Joseph.
Looks like it's going to go too.
Yeah, and the thing is, it bamboozled me because it was putting in lower highs and lower lows, took out a level, and now it is not letting me in right now. Despite the fact that we threw in some orders. So we'll keep tabs on that, looking for another entry on this one. But right now, I'm just not going to chase it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Don't chase, man. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. And that's what Sharif and I always talk to you guys about as well, too, especially chasing this market and the move that we've been on as of recently. There's ways that you can get around that and still make money without having to actually trace the underlying assets. So yeah, there we go. I'm looking for Bitcoin to put in a new high here. As soon as we breach it, I mean, if we continuously reject this, then maybe we won't get it. We were knocking on that door, but we have a massive defend. There's someone defending at 61.45, and you can see it displayed there on the tape. So they're just continuously rejecting it. We run into those levels, try to construct a new high a day, and they're like, nah, no, see you later, not today. Defense, 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 and then that's why you can see we're starting to slowly pull back here, there, guys. If there's any specific that you want me to go over, I'll go over a couple of names here in the chat. I'm just letting this cook. Jay Lee's telling me to short the Qs, so I'm keeping my eye on that just in case I do see any form of indecision or a pattern that says, hey, Joe, look to take me to the downside. But I'm also looking at NVDA to hold some of these key levels. If we continue this this downward trajectory, then I'm going to be looking for some indecision at the lows and some isolated volume signatures to say, hey, Joe, let's take this long here. But let's take a look at some of the names that you guys are suggesting. APLD. All right, yeah, let's go. We'll go over the first couple names here just to see what everybody's got going on and whatever you guys have been trading this morning. All right, so the first one is Space, SPCE. Let's take a look at Virgin Galactica Holdings. Okay, really nice look there, guys. All-day trend so far. Not moving with the overall market, but this is a really nice move for whoever's been trading this one. Obviously, there's liquidity issues, and from a longer duration standpoint, when you zoom out, it doesn't look so good. But today's session, relatively strong. That's something positive. Now, let's see what else we got going on. Meta. I was just looking at Meta not too long ago. I'm just like, man, this name has been on an absolute monster run as it continues to climb higher and higher. Now we're only a couple percentage points off of that all-time high here now, guys. So what are we trading? About 5.7% there. So, yeah, really good look there in META. We know what Zuck's still got going on with the antitrust. And then let's pull up one more that is going to be the likes of Amazon. All right, yeah, I want to talk about this name too because I was looking to get involved in this, but I just think it, alongside of Apple, it's one of the larger names that are most affected by these tariffs. And I was being a little bit more patient. We did fill the majority of this gap to the downside, and I believe that was your precise entry if you're looking to get involved in this for a swing. I personally didn't pull the trigger on that game plan, which is obviously my fault. But again, I got enough going on. I did want to get involved in this name because you can see from this 200 point, we're now up 14 points, right? So that's a 7% move right there, guys. I liked Amazon a lot. There's going to be another opportunity, I think, to get involved in this name. So I'm going to wait for some pullbacks, but it's only a matter of time because I think AWS is an absolute beast, and it's definitely going to help with Amazon for sure.
I don't understand why I'm not going to fill. KWM, guys, breaking out. I'm just not able to get the fill, so we're going to have to cancel that. All right, KWM 493. Whoa. Good move up here, 42.33%. It's a couple of pennies off the day high, so expect resistance now. 488 on the current candle, 493 HOD. We printed the high of the day right at 1030. Getting a little bit of selling here to be expected as we get closer to the high of day. People likely will take profits. This one was really respectful of the volume weighted average price, so I'm quite inclined to want to pick up anything in and around VWAP. Now, we've done everything we needed to do on KWM for it to be tradable under my system. We've cleared that pre-market high that we put in bright and early at 6 a.m., right at 6 a.m., excuse me. We popped up into that 450. We've taken it out in spades, a 493 high a day on this one. So keep your eye on it as it continues to trend higher here. I'm talking about KWM. Keep tabs on that. What else we got involved? Still nothing on UMAC. Haven't been able to enter that. NA, we just got an ad there. Ramin, it's not showing my positions. So NA, we just got the ad on this one, 1050. Sorry, I got this one at 1040. It's showing me 1061. So let's see if we can extract some profits on this bad boy. I'm going to wait at 1060 or so. Let's see if we can get something around there. And then just around 1080 if we can move up into that level. So we'll keep tabs on NA as it comes in a little bit here. Still rejecting $11. Pardon me? No problem. Thank you. I appreciate it, that Assassino. Keeping an eye on UNCY. Is it zigs and zags at that dollar area? I put my stop below the volume weighted average price, so we'll see what we get there. NVTS, that's the only one really I don't think I've said too much about. It feels like it is becoming a little bit top heavy at about 784. It's got this kind of consolidation pattern with marginally lower highs and lower lows. It feels like a lot of these 5-minute candles are topping tails, usually because people are aggressively shorting or taking profits at that level. That's the bad side of the equation for the longs. The good side of the equation is still respecting the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So we'll see if this one wants to break through that 784 high, or whether it wants to do a bit of more of an aggressive retracement, possibly that 7.5. We've been talking about the 20 exponential coming into focus a lot lately with these small cap gappers. That's actually showing me 7.5 right now. So possible dip trade on this one at 7.5. Let's see if that one could end up working. We'll keep tabs on that. But KLTO, it just didn't feel like this one was the right one for me, but sometimes you're wrong about this. And there it goes back up again to the high side, taking out levels, but it's still very thickly traded, and it's not really like jettisoning to the high side in the way that it was earlier. Maybe it'll do it now because I'm talking about it. Here it is, taking out levels 138 we just popped into. So KTLO, this is the one that Neil was telling you guys about. As they were winding down the morning show, a $163 high. We come all the way down. We hold a technical level at around 110, which we did end up actually using as resistance earlier on. We hold it as support to a T. We're far removed away from the volume weighted average price though, which is actually below $1 right now. It's about 83.25 pennies. So if you're waiting for a deeper retracement on KTLO, you're going to have to wait for, you're either going to have to use a level that's above $1, or you're going to have to wait for the loss of $1 because VWAP markedly lower than that dollar level right now. Let's go back to UNC. Why? Because that one is working its way up into the $1 area again, and now it's got a double bottom off that volume weighted average price. So does it find some support here? Can we get a nicer move up to the high side? Not quite yet, so we'll keep tabs on that. How's our trade on NA doing? Well, it's showing 60s right now, and we've got an order at 60s, but it's an 8-penny spread. So we know that that one will take a little bit of time before we can trigger on right now. So keeping my eye on NA. NA's it's a good stock. I think I just traded it poorly. It's a very strong one with a good bull flag pattern, kind of compressing a little bit, but not as compressy as we've seen in the past with some of these ones that have a sharper triangle shape. So NA in focus. Let's see if we can get something to the high side on this one, Jose.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. We're going to go to there, and then we're going to talk Amazon because it's breaking out.
I guess shed a little bit of light on Apple. AAPL here with its WWDC 2025 keynote coming through in just over an hour here. It's expected to start at 1 p.m. Eastern. But there's one individual who is a huge part of Apple's past that we talked about a month ago. His name is Johnny Ive. This is the man that was in that very unique photo with Sam Altman to advertise the acquisition of his new company here, I.O., by OpenAI. But Johnny Ive actually had a very prolific career with Apple. He was at the company for 27 years and actually became their chief design officer at one point during his tenure. Here are just some of the products he's been credited with designing to some extent. He was on the team, or I guess overseeing the team here that worked on the iPad. He's been heavily credited with designing the Apple Watch and part of this Apple Watch. And he's also, fun fact, been credited with designing the translucent shell that the original iMac had. So if you want to read more about this ahead of this Apple event, I have handily tied it into a thread with other Apple facts that we previously posted here on X at TTV Research. That is X at TTV Research for all your fun market fact needs. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Yeah, thank you for that there, Adara. I remember those computers in 1998. So yeah, those like going to computer class. And that's what we were talking about. That I'll never forget. I don't know, for those who do remember this, All the Right Type. I don't know, All the Right Type, it's like literally a little typing application, and in elementary school, I think around grade 3 or 4, there was one kid who was better than me at All the Right Type, and one of the winning prizes, the CD gave like our teacher gave like a burnt disc, a burnt CD with some of the Fire's tracks, and I couldn't beat this guy, so I offered to pay him money for the CD and to lose so I can get it, but he was having none of it, and he wanted to win it, so yeah, dude, I was like grade 3 or grade 4, and I'm like, I couldn't beat him, and I'm like, yo, let me win, because I wanted the CD, and I told him that I would buy it off him, but I love it. Yeah, he wasn't having any of it. But yeah, here we go, guys.
Some people like that.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go, guys. A nice breakout here in. Yes, I did, Jake. I had a floppy disk way back in the day. Yes, so here we go, guys. This is really important to keep an eye out on here. This is a really large indecision print with a large volume signature as well, so keep an eye on that. This is going to define a lot here. I think if we break it to the downside, maybe you come into the middle of the range, but if it's breached to the top side, then I think we'll continue to appreciate in price. But this is what we want to see for a genuine breakout, right? So you can see consolidation zone, and just look at the volume by time profile here. Just really, really steady, but then as we're going to break out, and as we break out, you see that volume really start to stair step. So that can add a lot within your trading system, all right? So it's just following the volume. If you're a breakout trader like myself and you're like, why is it continuously knocking on this specific level and having the inability to breach? Well, take a look at the volume and the tape to see what that's telling you, because it's extremely important. And there's not enough force in order for you to break through key resistance zones, and then you'll just see that level be continuously rejected. Yeah, I mean, this one is, I love seeing what you guys are going on in the chat. Well, I'll go through some of those names, but it's unfortunate that NVDA is continuously tanking here, guys. I mean, to a T, we marked out this level, and I didn't even look at the options chain until I seen that we rejected 145 almost to a penny there, only a couple cents off it. And then you go and you look at the chain, and it's like, okay, yeah, we have a massive supply zone. There wasn't enough demand in order for us to punch through and continue to move higher and higher there. But let's see. I can read this one out loud, I think. Did you not learn Apple 2E commands and DOS, do you even know computers? No, I'm not going to claim that I know computers whatsoever because I do not. That? It's Big Smile, man. Big Smile? Yeah, Big
Smile's chirping you about computers?
Yeah, apparently. But
come on, Big Smile.
That's okay. We'll take it. I mean, I told you guys I have at home, my desktop is like a Ryzen 5. I have a Ryzen 5 with 1 terabyte SSD or something along those lines. I might even be getting those numbers mixed up because it was a couple years ago when I put it together. But yeah, it's a nice little rig. It's been doing me well since I bought it, and it hasn't slowed down, to be honest with you.
That's good, man. Yeah. The Windows computers have a tendency to slow for no reason, right? Like you'll just be, using them and they'll just get older and they'll slow down. Yeah. Even if you format it, right? Like you take off everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's been good. It hasn't slowed down on me.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good thing, right?
But I only use it for like work purposes, right? Like I only have my trading platforms. I'm not streaming anything on it or anything along those lines. So yeah.
All right, guys, keeping my eye here on the following. So NA, we got a little bit of a beak wetter with this one. It's still having trouble south of 11, so be careful with this one. I perceive this one to be bull flagging. It's about whether or not I get shaken out of the trade. I see a good looking bull flag here. Sure, the volume profile is not the most ideal. It's only done 1 1/3 million shares, but it's really not giving up the level either. It's not breaking down below VWAP. It's not losing $10. So we'll see which way this cookie crumbles. Keeping my eye here on UMAC. Finally, we got the ad towards the lower end of the range. I perceive UMAC to be doing an upward channel with basically a pullback coming in every time we make a high of day or near a high of day. Case in point, we pulled back here after coming into about 932, despite the fact that the high of the day was 938. So let's see, what do we have on UMAC right now? We've got 12s on. It's showing me 17s. Let's wet the beak here for a quick one at 17s, and then we'll also wait at 22. So we'll see if we can get some profits on this one. UNCY still holding the volume weighted average price, but that's the good news. The bad news is south of the dollar, and now it is putting in marginally lower highs. Marginally here because it's a dollar name, so it's not going to put in substantially lower highs unless it tanks. So UNCY in focus for me. But KTLO paper-handed this trade to start. We're getting something back on it now as it takes out that 140, I want to say 145. That's a local area high. So let's see if we can extract some more profits here on KTLO. Yeah, it's a good looking stock right now. We'll take some profits at this level. Let's set up some profit takers as well into the high 40s, and then we'll put some on the north side of 50. I'm expecting resistance at 50 bucks or 50 pennies, excuse me. Even though the high of the day obviously is $1.62. Look where the closing print is. It's marginally above that 150 area. It's at a 151. So I still feel that the main resistance level, even though it's a $1.63 high a day, it is really that 150 that is the high of the day at the moment, or like the real area where we're going to have trouble. So that's what I'm looking at right now. CXTR got into this one super quick, got stopped out super quick. So I tried to get in at the 10 exponential. This one, I feel stop hunted me. So we got stop hunted on this one. I literally have the bottom of the wick there. Sometimes, you place your stops in the wrong area, and that's kind of what I did there. So we'll keep tabs on that one. I don't know if I want to jump into this one super quick. I do like the 1 1/3 area, but I feel it's cleared it by some distance. The reason I like 1 1/3 is because of this area right here. Yeah, it's continuing to come down right now, CXTR. KLTO continues to move up, so we'll take some prints there, knowing full well, the bottom could drop off at any moment. And UNCY really dropping off over here, so we'll get stopped out of that one again. And then UMAC, we're taking prints to the high side, so some good, some bad, guys. It's a bit of everything today, so we'll keep tabs on these. Yeah, these small cap gappers, they don't leave much room at all for error. UMAC headed to the high side, UNCY headed to the downside, KLTO headed to the upside. Holy cows. This is an invigorating Monday. Let's just put it that way. It's an invigorating Monday. Let's take some prints on this one as well. As this one, I don't know how to feel about, Joseph. What do you got on your side, my man?
Yeah, I'm still cooking up here. I'm waiting for any form of indecision on the lower time frames here, the lows on NVDA to see if we can get a small bounce back towards the volume weighted average price. We'll dive a little bit more into that and what we got going on with IBIT here right after we get back from Madeira.
Here's DoorDash. This one not moving too much, but here on Watch, I'm seeing news come through on X for this one. Apparently, Canada's Competition Bureau has stated that it is suing DoorDash for allegedly advertising misleading prices and discounts. Keep an eye on DASH. Not too much of a move in this one, though, as of right now. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, Kay, you don't want to make it too exciting. That probably means that you're over trading, in my opinion. So, yeah. All right, guys, let's see what we got going on. Some nice indecision at the lows here on NVDA, but I do believe we have to be a little bit more patient on this one. So, again, risk profile slightly defined. If it cracked it to the low, get out. But I do like that we're slowly putting in this base, and then maybe we can start to curl over and then look for that move back towards the volume weighted average price, because I don't think this is going to be that weak of a stock, especially with some of the other names slowly climbing higher with the likes of Amazon. It wants to break. We'll pull up Amazon here momentarily because it does want to break this previous pivot high and put in a new high day, I feel like, but it's just taking a little bit of time. It's taking its slow time, just slowly absorbing things. A nice breath after this breakout, and then hopefully you can take that additional leg higher. With that being said, let's pull up the chain to see if we have any high levels of open interest at specific strike prices above where we're currently sitting. 22,000 at 220. That's the highest level of OI. 215 is already under the water, considering we're at 215.46 right now. So there you go. You have whoever's on the opposite end of that is now underwater, and those short calls are in the money, and that's not necessarily something that you would want. But those are the two highest levels of open interest on the call side for this week's expiration cycle. That's going to be at 215 and 220. So I do like Amazon for a potential touch into 220 this week. Let's see how it plays out and if that comes into fruition there. All right, so let's pull up Google, because we've been monitoring this name from an open interest standpoint as well too. And what I'm seeing right now is we still have that concentration of open interest within those couple strike prices. So through 175 to 180 is kind of where we have that congestion zone and that supply zone. So 175, we have 21,000 open contracts. 177.5, we got 16,000. And then 180, we have 18,000. So there is a little bit of congestion there and supply. But if we can punch through that and then wait until next week to see where those roll over and see if they're slowly lifting higher and higher, which they are, because I remember us talking about it, and the high levels of open interest were at 170. So they're slowly lifting in increments there. I'm waiting till next week to see what we got going on. But what we're seeing right now isn't a bad thing for Google, Sharif.
Well said, Joseph. Yeah. Well, absolutely well said. All right, guys, KLTL is breaking out, and it's about 1 penny off the high of the day. So here we go. Watch out for this one. We're about 2 pennies now off, 1 penny off the high of the day. We just printed 62s. It's 63. Now it's up 670%. If it squeezes above 63, this could be an aggressive breakout. Or it couldn't. I mean, well, I have no idea who's waiting for us on the north side. So let's set up some orders and try to extract some profits. It did print 163, so just wicked into the high of the day now. So this one did touch the high of the day. So let's set up some orders to the high side over here, and we'll put some in the high 70s as well. We'll wait at 77s. Now, you know, anything could happen here. We can get into that key level. There could be a short waiting for us of note at that level, or people could aggressively take profits. I'm talking about the high of the day. So it's really impossible to know what kind of reaction we're gonna get to a high day touch, whether it's just a big move down or what the situation is. So we got, what do we have on 31s? It just touched 63s. So it's not a bad look, but I am concerned always when we get into a key level like this of a double top, especially if you don't clear it decisively and vigorously, because you never really know who is waiting for you on the other side. I got back into CTXR at a key level. I have a dip trade to defend the volume weighted average price at $1.30, in addition to the price action previous area of resistance that I perceive to be at that $1.30 area. So we'll keep tabs on that. UMAC as well. We took some prints to the high side on this one into the high day 935. Or sorry, I got a 935 print, even though the high of the day is 938. Back into 929 it goes. I'm talking about UMAC. I perceive this to be an upward channel, so I'm trying to get in towards the lower end of that upward channel. So that's my look on that one at the moment. Am I in KWM? No, thank goodness. No, KWM is another one that I've wanted to get into. It's coming back into the volume weighted average price. This one over here, it kind of found resistance again in the high 80s. It didn't even make its way into the low 90s this time. VWAP on KWM just a little bit above that $0.50 or lower, excuse me, 447 as opposed to, you know, whatever, 450, which is the psychological area of resistance. But this is the kind of stuff that keeps me up at night, man. Like, this is just very bothersome for me, this stop hunting over here, because, you know, you've got proper analysis in your mind, at least you think you have it, and then you get stop hunted in this way. Yeah, it's just the way it is with these ones. It doesn't take too much money to move them. That's the thing, right? You can have like a legitimately, again, relatively small account compared to some other people, and you can just manipulate the stock. So you just have to accept that as part and parcel of trading small caps. And
you're familiar with Peter Tuchman, I believe his name. Right?
I don't.
Oh, Peter? Oh, yeah, okay. So he's like a really popular Wall Street guy, but he says he has a couple of videos where it's like they can see it. Like they'll see your stop orders.
100%.
They'll just take them, and then they'll just move the stock higher and higher.
We've talked about this. Remember what do we call it? Level 3.
Level 3.
Level 3.
Yeah, but they actually know where you're placing your orders, your stop, and then boom, they'll just take it down. Boom, 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 boom. They'll just take it out, and then he's like, you can hear it on the floor. You'll hear it like take the stops out of everybody, and then just take the price higher and higher after.
I'd like to be able to get my hands on some of those people.
Oh, you're telling me. I told you, man, at one point I'm like, man, if there was an individual chat, like if you could have a chat for each underlying stock, I would honestly be chiming in on that chat. You're so lucky I can't get my hands on you on the other side of that screen, for sure. But sorry, continue.
All right, we are caught in an uphold now on our friend KLTO. New high of day at $1.64.
All right, there you go. You're getting something cooking up there.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so we're caught in an uphold right now on my friend KLTO. Keep your eye on this one. It is at the high of the day as we speak. That is the halt level, the high of the day, 164 KLTO. It's up now exactly to the second decimal point. I don't know if I've seen this before. 700.00% on the dot and not anything different. KLTO is on one. It's on that good stuff that you got to go south of the border in order to get your hands on. You can't. My bad. You can't get it here, Neil, not legally anyway. So KLTO on that good, and it is, let's see where it ends up opening up. I'll give you guys a quick look.
Wait, but what are you referring to if you can get it legally down there?
Well, I can't take,
okay.
I can't.
But you can get it legally down there?
Well,
you know what I mean? It's culturally accepted.
Hold on. Guys, the tap now on KLTO, $1.50. So it is slated to open down. Now, the theoretical auction price is ever changing, right? It's an auction system that takes place while the stock is halted. As you send market on open orders, or actually it can be limit on open as well. They don't always have to be market. So you're getting buy and sell orders while it's halted, and the exchange is pairing those buy and sell orders, and then an imbalance either to the high side or the downside occurs. And as a result, we get a theoretical auction price. So currently, it's lower than where we halted. That is not a good look for me. So we'll keep tabs on that. To the high side, though, goes UMAC, working right back into that high day. It behooves me to throw out some dang orders on UMAC over here, and I got a partial order at 35, so we'll wait at 38. But here goes NA and CTXR. So let's take out some more profits on these, you know what. So we'll set up some orders here and some north of 11 on my friend NA. And then let's keep an eye, obviously, on CTXR, because I'm 0 for 1 on that. But we're trying to make some money back over here on CTXR. It did come into that $1.50 and was met with some selling. And here's that $1.50 again. And we're rejecting it yet again. So look to extract some profits here. Look, even though the candle that closed at 1150 was kind of a topping till candle, or maybe you could even make the case it was a doji candle, I don't know how I feel about this, right? So that's a candle of indecision, usually preceding a trend change. So if it was a downward trend, we're looking for an upward trend here, but that's not always a hard and fast rule. So I'm keeping my eye out on that. Those are the ones we're involved in right now, guys. It's been a tough start to the morning, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Yep. And you just got to keep going and moving on. So CTXR, where are we long here on CTXR? We're long at 39s. It's showing me 49s. And as I mentioned, it's having trouble with the $0.50. Quickly before we head back, I want to mention KTLO halted at $1.64 with a theoretical auction price lower than the halt price. That's trouble. And then UMAC continues to stay in that range. We've got the lower end of the range and NA. We just got a beak wetter there at 80, set up some in the high 10s, low 11s. You guys hear that, right? Yeah. That means it's recess time. So Joseph and I are going to take a break, and we're going to go back there and throw the football around or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. What did you do?
You're not even allowed doing that. You're not
allowed to do that. What was your favorite recess pastime?
Foot hockey.
Hold on. We were allowed to play football, but they didn't want us playing tackle.
Yeah,
that didn't stop us, though, Joseph, from going on the other side of the hill.
There's no way. They were not stopping us. For me and my friends, it was foot hockey.
They wouldn't let you guys play foot hockey?
No, we would play foot hockey. Yeah. Were you saying, like, what's my recess?
Yeah,
foot hockey. Foot hockey was our thing. Even though it's essentially just soccer with a tennis ball, but you know what I mean? But we thought it was foot hockey, and it's best believe keep your head up at all times. So, like, yeah.
Keep your head up, boy.
Dude, full disclosure. One second, before we go back, full disclosure, I think I was in like grade 4. I got suspended one time, right? You can think about it.
What'd you do?
Dude, I body checked my buddy's cousin into the garbage bins, and his name was Todd. So shout out to Todd.
Shout out Todd.
Yeah, but he couldn't handle it. So I smoke him into the bin, and then obviously he starts crying and tells on me, and then so I got in trouble. I got in trouble for that one there, yeah. But
always a good time.
Always a good
Before we go to Adara, guys, KLT open. Sorry, Neil. Here we go. $1.64. So it did open up. It looks like it opened up at $1.62. Here it comes aggressively to the downside. We're still above the 10 exponential. So I don't get out of this until and if it loses that 10 EMA. And here we go. We're moving back up into the 150s right now. It's a candle of indecision. Keep your eye out on this one. KLTO, 700% at the high. Zigging and zagging. Here it comes again to 169. 70 is the high of the day. So we got it right here. I've got beak wetters on the north side of that $1.70. So it's going to have to clear it. Otherwise, I don't touch it. Shout out to Steven Stewart. I appreciate you, my man. $5 sheaf. What is a beak wetter? Ooh. A beak wetter, my man. Look what he's doing. He's putting his beak and he's taking out prints from the garbage there. You see that? You see that how he's taking it up? All right, guys. We are having a good time. Sorry to keep you waiting. Adara LePage, what is happening now?
Thank you for that transition there, Sharif Gobriel. Let's talk about the market. This S&P 500 is just kind of coiling around here near this $600 level. And this coiling has honestly started as a Friday because it's a nice push up pre-market. And then we just kind of chopped for the last 2 sessions. QQQ, if I can pull this one up, looking a little bit stronger. We had a nice push here into a decisive high of day, around 10:15 on the Qs, but then not really able to hold that strength. Just be aware right now, I am hearing apparently Donald Trump currently speaking to Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel, according to an Axios reporter. So just be aware that conversation is happening, not likely to be supermarket moving, but always worth being aware of. We have Broadcom here. A lot of these day 2 earnings plays pushing decisively lower. Here's AVGO. And if I can pull it up here, here's Lululemon. She's also having a pretty rough day here, both of those at or near day's lows. Now, of course, here's Tesla, TSLA. This one had a really nice push off the open despite 2 downgrades, one from Baird, one from Argus. Now, though, curling a little bit here at the highs after trying and I guess failing to decisively get back above this pre-market high. Apple on watch as well. That WWDC keynote, guys, it starts in less than an hour, kicking off at 1 p.m. Eastern. I will cover that for you guys. Before we can do that, we're going to have to take some time with Neil and his lesson of the day. So without further ado, please take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. Your lesson of the day brought to you by StreamX, and that's on the Nasdaq ticker BSGM, shaping the future of decentralized finance. Want to shout them out. Scan that QR code you see in front of you right there, BSGM, everybody. But you know what? Everyone loves a good comeback story. Oh. Right? I think so. Yes. Usually they do. They're popular in the movies. Well, in the market, what that means is, okay, not necessarily, I'm not talking about dead cat bounces. I'm not talking about, you know, when a stock that's down for, like a Mullen is down for like 175 days in a row and has an up day. No, what I'm talking about is maybe something relatively strong that gets a hefty pullback that everyone might think is a change in sentiment and then just immediately shifts right back to the upside. Now, you might be thinking about Tesla. That's not what got me on that plane today. It was CoreWeave. And really, when you look at CoreWeave, one of the strongest names in the market today, 15% to the upside. Remember 2 days ago when it seemed like the air was coming out of CoreWeave? Okay, 2 trading days ago, this is on Thursday, it seemed like all the air was coming out of CoreWeave. It failed 160, it failed 150, it failed 140, and then it held 130. Put in a nice consolidation day on Friday. But when you see a sentiment shift like this, a lot of people will think, okay, head and shoulders, like there's a prior high, there's the fail at the top, there's it putting in resistance. So as long as it doesn't break 150, look at that continuation holding 150 on Friday. Okay, that should still be a short because it's on the right side of the V, or which is weird because it's really an A. But instead, it's that breakout. You got to think of it in the other way too. If people like that short for the multi-day play, this thing's gone too far, then the break becomes just as good. And that breakout has given you like $10, $12 winner. Now, I'm not saying Palantir is going to give you that, but whenever I see something like this, it's like, oh, we missed it. My first thought is, what else might be doing something somewhat similar? Because can you jump on a train that is similar to that? And that's why I went over to Palantir, because Palantir on Thursday, you had a fresh high last week. On Thursday was the secondary rollover day. Then Friday was able to hold up. You had a double top. So what does Palantir do? It breaks out of that double top. So this is what I mean. When you have something which it seems like a huge sentiment shift, and immediately the day after it's like, okay, we're bouncing back or we're consolidating back, look for that breakout play. Why? Because those that think it's a big time sentiment shift on a upward trending stock, like Palantir or CoreWeave, on the consolidation day, there's some shorts building. And whether they build in a consolidation or whether selling into prior highs or prior support, either way, on that following day, when it breaks out, if it breaks out, you can find some nice runners. I want to be a buyer of Palantir on trend. Obviously, CoreWeave was a much better example of this in terms of how clean the move is, but it's the same principle. When everyone thinks the capitulation has started on a gangbuster stock, if it follows it up with a nice sideways day or maybe a day that still plays off some resistance, don't be afraid to look for that breakout instead of the sentiment shift. So there's your lesson of the day. Hopefully anyone long Palantir and CoreWeave is having a good one. And is again brought to you by BSGM. That is StreamX. Let's go to Adara.
Here is Google. I just want to let you guys know the company just announced here that they have some availability of its memory optimized machine series. It's Compute Engine M4. Apparently, it's the most performant memory optimized VM with under 6 terabytes of memory. So good look here for GOOG L or GOOG, I guess, pushing to the upside here after announcing the availability of their memory optimized machine series. We're going to send you back to the Bash Brothers.
You for that, Adara.
Thank you, Adara.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. It looks like that Bitcoin wants to go and retest this high once again. But this is what I'm referring to, and Sharif and I always talk about, just looking for the volume and what it's telling you. I mentioned a couple of things, right? It's either we can crack towards the end of we break the lower end of this candle here and head back into the middle of the range. But as soon as we breach it, I do believe that there's going to be some more topside movement. And just following the volume, you can see it slowly start to increase as we're running into these resistance zones, and then it breaks out, and then that's a really genuine move, and then the volume is just sustained. So it hasn't even put in a 5-minute candle since it broke out. So that's a really good look there on Amazon for those who have caught that breakout and just continuing to climb higher and higher. So I like that look there, Sharif.
All right, guys, NA, we took out at 46 there. Next, Beakwetter 69. We have 36s on. But here's the deal. It's a topping tail candle into yet another predictable area of resistance. Take a gander at this candle. This is the 5-minute chart right here. It rejects it exactly at 1150, not the time, the price. And this current candle, the 1205 5-minute candle, guess what? Rejects right at 1150 as well. So it's a very spready name. It's a 30-penny spread right now on NA. Who does this think one thinks it is, man? Like UNH or something, right? Bro, calm down. Yeah, Dara says get it. So keep your eye on NA. Nice breakout there, but a predictable area of resistance could be trouble. Keeping my eye, though, on KLTO. I took out some at the high of the day, but now I'm caught in a down halt. And it's halted down now at $1.50, okay? What do I got on this thing? $1.31. So I'll give you the theoretical auction price right now on it. So KLTO, we got $1.45 right now on KLTO. So this one, as I mentioned, halted at $1.50. So it's 5 pennies lower than the halt. So we'll keep tabs on that. CTXR is taking out levels. So I moved up my stop on CTXR from below the VWAP to prior bar low. So here we go, moving up quite aggressively on this one. Time to take some profits up here, even if we did already take profits here because there's size on. Let's see if we can extract some more. This one is really going a little bit aggressive right now with the current bar high, I believe, at 57s. Here's 56 again. I'm set up at 58s and then 60s. So CTXR taking over crazy small cap gapper kind of world while KLTO is halted. They take turns. Once one is halted, the DGen's got to punch into something. You can't just sit there for 5 minutes and catch a drink. You got to be trading like a DGen, right? So then you flip from KLTO into CTXR. It's the truth, dog. I mean, it's the truth. Can I tell you the truth? Because one is halted and the other one wasn't doing anything, and then all of a sudden it's doing something.
There you go.
Surprise,
You gotta do
right?
something, man.
I'm playing, guys. We're having a good time.
Oh,
We're having a good time.
Hilarious.
All right, so CTXR still below that $1.63 high day, Joseph, but holding up quite well. It's got a great looking bull flag pattern here. Generally, the area low has been $1.40 with the area high being around 155. I would say 155 is even generous. It's more like a 140, 150-ish with outlying wicks to the high side and the low side. So we'll keep tabs on that. What else do I got on over here? Nothing really happening here with UMAC. I think UMAC might be, the end of the trade might be coming. It's right back into my level. I've got 11s on. It's showing me 13s. It still hasn't broken trend, but it hasn't broken trend yet. But what it has shown me is the lower high situation. I want nothing to do with this one until it gets back into about 890. Well, look, here's what I'll do. I'll put the money fills I perceive to be possibly between $9 and $8.88. $8.88 VWAP, $9 psychological resistance. So what I'm going to do, since I took out the last trade break even there, let's go ahead and wait. We're going to wait in between those two areas. So I'm going to wait in the 90s, okay? I'm going to wait in the low 90s. Let's see if we can get something in and around there. I'd be pleased as dang punch. Shout out to Adara. Okay, so we're going to keep an eye out on that. KWM right back off VWAP, right back into that range. It feels like it's going to break out through 5 at any point in time. Now, again, bull flags, they're not created equal just like humans, and they move up. Sometimes they move to the side for an hour. Sometimes they move to the side for 5 minutes. So I perceive a bull flag forming on KWM with the flat top possibly around that $5 area. I think the money fills are in and around that $0.50 with maybe a stop at the $0.33 of a dollar on KWM. I haven't had any trades on it, but I'm keeping my eye on this one. It's setting up well. I mean, there's really not much bad to say about it. CTXR comes right back down again into that end of the range. Now, if I was a better trader, I'd be adding here, okay? But I don't want to add here because it's not been my day, so we'll keep tabs on this one. The next profit taker, just a little bit below the 60 penny area. So that's what I'm looking at there. Last but not least, NA, let's weasel on over there. I've got an order out for 69s. This one's been hanging out at 11.50 now on a 3-candle basis. This current candle has 3 more minutes before it closes, so we'll keep tabs on that. KLTO is now open. So as I mentioned, we got 31s on, and anything below 31, it's all over for this trade. I will not allow any of it to go against me. So KTLO open and zigging and zagging right now at the $0.50, which is also the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Let's see if it holds it and heads back up, Joseph.
Nice, good luck there, guys. All right, yeah, I'm still sitting in this position here, guys. No ads. I'm looking for that break of the high day on IBIT. We're continuously knocking on the door of the 6140 levels, and then we're rejecting it. So someone's defending. Until that's lifted, then I don't know if we're going to climb any higher, obviously, as obvious as that may seem. But you also got to take into consideration that the move that we have put in overnight as well, too. So, I mean, slightly extended, nice chop. I'm glad that we got that continuation throughout the intraday session, but I don't know how much higher we climb today. But with that being said, let's take a look at the top performing sectors here throughout the session, guys. In first place, we'll go that win place show. We got the materials up about 0.8. Then we have the energy sector up about 0.5% there, guys, and then the tech sector also slightly green on the day, even though NVDA is continuously selling. The pre-market action is what led it to be green. We got to double check to see where it's currently sitting right there, and then you can see the communication service sector sitting in fourth place there, guys, and then we'll take a look at the bottom three right here. Consumer discretionary sitting in that third last spot, healthcare not doing so good, and then the financial sector taking it right on the nose there, guys. The brunt of it on the chin, I guess we can say, down 0.5% on that front. So we'll take a look at XLF, and we'll go through some of these the sector ETFs here that I like to take a look at to see what we got hot. We're going to start with the XLF because I think that's going to be the most entertaining one here today. So there you go. Out of the opening drive, some weak PA. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Still hovering around in this zone. I mean, I bought, it's funny, I bought Selena some of this stuff, and I didn't even buy myself any of this way back in these neck of the woods here. So, but you don't know what's going on with that. I just buy it more, something and say it's whatever. Even though I didn't really say anything right there, but I say just put money in the account. Let me know. I'll buy you certain things. And that's kind of the system we got going on. Yeah. So hovering around this range there, guys. Let's take a look at the healthcare sector as well too. That's going to be XLV there. Pull this up to see what we got going on. Such a tough look here. All right, so I mean, we're trading around 134 with that all-time high being right around that 157. So we're still down about 14% off of those previous highs. And then we got the utilities in third last there, XLU, XLU. The utilities, okay, so not a bad look here from this sector. Let's zoom out. Actually, I don't want to because it'll just freeze. But there you go, a nice climb off of these Liberation Day low, 71 now trading around $81. Now let's pull up XLB. Pretty sure that's materials. Yep. Oh, there we go. I remember my sectors relatively well. XLB there, guys. This is the first place performing the top performing sector of the day, up about 0.8, closer to the 9 now. So nice strong here throughout the day, and I mean there's some key resistance zones that we want to keep an eye out on. And this area right here, you can see this consolidation phase. I think that's going to be really important in order for us to clear through. So you want to see that momentum and that volume really start to pick up, and then we'll take a look at XLE, especially if you're looking for a break of that zone right there. So I think that's going to be some overhead resistance there for XLB. Now we got the energy sector as well too, a big time recovery, some massive gap downs, but slowly climbing off of those highs. And again, you got some key resistance zones that you need to break through. We did fill this gap, but then it came right back through it there. So that's going to be the next opportunity. If you're looking for a gap fill type of play, this is a range that I would be looking to get filled necessarily. And then we'll go to XLK before we send it back to Sharif there. So tech sector, boom. Oh, wow, not even too far off of these all-time highs there, Sharif. Only about 1 1/3 there off of those all-time highs is the XLK. So, yeah, start selling those CSP, guys. Don't be chasing anything up there. Wait for that price to come to you.
Where's the XLF at? That's the only ETF that I literally end up having.
It's not too far off the all-time highs there.
Where are we at, bro? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's doing good.
Yeah, we're okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, you're supposed to get really, like, the good push for regulation, or deregulation, I should say. Second half of the, or third to fourth quarter this year, they're saying Trump's going to start focusing on deregulating a lot of the Biden era regulations that they put on these banks. So we'll have to see if that ends up happening.
Did it? Who was it? Right? Who was it? Someone that was only allowed to have like $1 trillion AUM or something like that?
Wells Fargo.
Wells Fargo. And they lifted that.
They were lifting that.
Yeah.
That was it wasn't even Biden responsible for that. To be fair to Biden, it was a Trump era SEC limit, because you know what they were doing, Joseph? They incentivized a lot of the people working at the bank to open up accounts for people, and so you would get points or whatever. You get bonuses.
Okay, so the referral.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they opened up all these accounts, and they weren't allowed to. People didn't give permission, so they
That's
got.
Like my friends always trying to get me to open up the sports betting things because they get the $50.
But at least your friends ask you. At least your friends ask you, right?
$50 referral.
All right, guys. NA just blew through the top. Oh baby, NA is is now up 76%. That $11 flat top break is gone. Zeno is an 1187 high a day. Keep your eye out for 12. This is a monster right now, NA, but it's a very spready ticker, so very dangerous to trade. Make sure you're not getting caught in slippage. And just before we send it back to Joseph super quick, I want to let you know KLTO is halted to the upside yet again. It's now up over 700%, and with a high a day, Joseph, of 176, currently halted at 166.
Nice. If you want a prop firm that's transparent, fair, and actually wants you to succeed, listen up. PropX gives you a 1 to 200 ratio leverage ratio, one of the highest out there, and no high watermark. Fast payouts, real support, and a team that's on your side. That's why they're rated a 4.6 on Trustpilot and continuing to climb. Use code TraderTV to get 50% off of your challenge right now. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description box and start trading smarter with PropX. Pass the challenge, get funded there, folks.
All right, guys. Yeah, make sure, man. They're a great company, great people. Shout out to Money Mitch. Look at CXTR. Oh, my goodness. This is really going right now, guys. Be careful with this one. This is another very dangerous one. 169 high a day right now on CTXR. Very aggressive move up here. Let's set up at the $0.25, and we'll set up at 82s as well. CTXR, there's a lot in almost triple-digit territory, like the one that I just mentioned, LNA, almost in triple-digit territory. You've also got CTXR on the precipice, 96% now. So big moves up here. KLTO is open, and it just took out at the new high again. So 182 high now on KLTO as it zigs and zags back down into 69. So make sure you are sending out those resting orders on these small cap gappers. Otherwise, you know, you could just not get the fill because they move through different price zones so quickly. And you could find yourself, you know, it was at 182, and then quick as you like, you find it at 162, and nobody wants that, right? Like, that's kind of frustrating to know that you had the money fill and then not to be able to get it. It just worked up into 182 again. It looks like there is selling at that 182 level, and here we go again, showing 180. Okay, so it keeps rejecting that area. So I feel there is a seller of note. I don't just feel, the market is telling me, and the price action is telling me there's a double top now on the 5-minute chart at that $1.82. It's up over 750%. Adara, have we had a quadruple digit winner north of $1 yet this year? Because I feel like we always say we're gonna have one, and I don't feel we end up getting into one. If you want to weasel in here, you're more than welcome to.
So to my knowledge, that has not been the case that I can remember anyway. I know we've had some in the high 3 digits. I do not believe we've had a quadruple digit yet. Of course, if I'm wrong, someone please feel free to correct me, but not to my memory.
Yeah, and the reason I always check with Adara is, everybody, if you've been watching the show, she's got an eidetic memory. If you don't know what eidetic is, it is kind of like a photographic memory, just another word to kind of describe that. So shout out to Sheldon Cooper. Ooh. Shout out to Adara LePage. Ooh. They've got the eidetic memory.
You guys Sheldon over there.
Yeah, man. Oh,
nice.
Bro. I was telling Adara this morning at the Big Desk, bro, completely different shows, whether you're watching Big Bang early series or Big Bang later. I think they change your writers, and the biggest, you can tell, the biggest change in characters is Sheldon, because he becomes less robot in the earlier one, and then he becomes like more human. He's like, wow, if I want to watch a regular human, I'll watch a different show. I'm watching Robot Man.
Watch a Robot Man.
I want to hear about Robot Man. Shout out to Sheldon Cooper, who obviously is not a real character.
So you like the later seasons more than
No, I like the earlier ones when he's like all rude and you know, like he just doesn't understand human emotions. He doesn't understand human. You know what I mean? It's jokes, right? He's so anyway, we're having a good time, guys. All right, so KLTO into that $1.82 again. CTXR into that 172 again. They're very similarly priced, but they're trading a lot differently. For example, KLTO has done almost 700 million shares on the day, just south, 685, while our friends on CTXR have done, where is CTXR at? There it is, 38 million shares. So yes, very similar price, not the same type of action though. Shout out to Action Jackson.
Ooh,
what's going on?
Jackson, no, Action Jackson, yeah.
Andrew, crap. I'm gonna have to paraphrase Andrew because you know.
Oh yeah, man. Here, let me hop into the old Well,
yeah.
There we go, bang.
No.
Hey, it's not you did anything bad. We just can't.
No, it's fine, Andrew. You're good, bro. Yeah. So, Andrew, crap, sold half my KLTO. What's wrong with that, man? That's a great trade. Shout out to you, Andrew, man. KLTO is obviously a very dangerous one to hold. So, the fact that you held is a good look. But it's KWM that I feel some sort of way about because I just have not executed on this one. What's going on over there, Joseph? Take it out, baby. Take it out.
We got to, let's go. As we break through the high day here on Bitcoin. Katina, man, I know you scope this trade out there, my brother, man.
Katina, man.
I didn't catch that, Phil. Come on, why are you going to reject your boy like that? That's not fair. Nice. Yeah, that's why you got to post up. That's why these guys tell me to post up. But I didn't, so I didn't catch that. But a really nice trade here, guys, and we're still holding on to it. So, this was attempt number one. I just stopped out. I'm like, okay, let's be patient. If we're going to continue this climb to the top side, then it'll display itself. And then that's when I entered right here, bang, bang, bang. And then we got really aggressive with this one and then just continuously take it out, add to the position once again, and then we got that break of the high day. And that's exactly why I'm still holding on to this, right? To see if we can get a new breach of that previous high of the day. And that's what I'm going to continuously do. See if we can take one off the top here before we get to the ad, and we're going to send it to Sharif right about, and they're going to reject my order or send it to.
Don't do it. Come on. One for all. The new trading competition from Trade the Pool. That's what it's called. One for all. Never been done before. Everyone will be trading together on one shared account with $1 million in buying power. Guys, this competition starts June 16th and goes all the way to June 18th. What's the goal? To beat the Qs. For example, if the Qs move by 3% up or down, we aim for more. And so what's in it for you? Everyone wins, plus $675,000 in prizes. You get 20 evaluation accounts that are up for grabs. So it's one account, one mission, one for all. Scan that dang QR code and join the team now, man. Shout out to the great folks there at Trade the Pool. That's a really interesting competition. I haven't seen anything done like that.
I've never seen anything.
No,
like that.
That's completely new to me.
A little bit deeper into that one there, Sharif.
You're gonna do a deep dive?
Yeah, we'll do. We'll see what we got going on there.
Hear that, Adara?
Get it. Deep dive, yeah, let's go. Deep. I could go for a deep dish pizza. I know you don't.
Oh God.
I know you're all about.
Why is it always about food with you, Joseph?
Yeah. Hey man. What else?
I thought I was supposed to be the one eating all the time.
Hey man. No,
dude,
man,
I went up to my aunt's on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I haven't had so much crap eaten in one, bro. My goodness, my cousin, she's a liability, bro. She's an absolute liability.
You got suckered right in.
Absolutely. She had these like milk chocolate with peanuts and blueberries, and I was just like, oh my God, Joseph.
That's what the wick. That's what the wick will do to you too when you head up to.
Bro, and it wasn't even that too. And then her mom has all these like gummy candies sprinkled all over the house. Living room, bowl of candy. Dining room, bowl of candy. Family room,
let me guess. Bowl of candy.
Bowl of candy. Damn. Bro, and me, just an idiot, going out, can I get you guys something from inside every time?
Yeah.
Bro, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like, I need the bowls of fruit, man. I'm a fruit bowl.
My goodness, man. There. No, man, I can't do that anymore, man. My stomach can't handle that kind of stuff, Joseph.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm sorry to wax poetic. Look at CXTR go, guys.
Oh, wow.
This thing is on one right now. It's a 192 high day. It's cleared that 100%. That 100% is in a rear view mirror, baby, because it's now 120%. And here comes that $2 area. It's a 192 high a day, so we're essentially 8 pennies off that $2 area. Be on the lookout for this one. I perceive this one to be a bull flag continuation. We get that, it depends really where you're looking at the beginning in the formation of the pole. It could be around over here because we consolidate a little bit. The point is, we could start seeing some more consolidation south of that $2 if we don't continue through that $2 area and form that as part of the initial pull, right? So see what I'm saying, guys? See that $1.15 break?
We zig and zag, we get up into that 155, and then we consolidate for a little bit. 150 to the high side, 140 to the downside. Then all hell breaks loose to the upside. We ended up clearing 150, 155, 165, and now it's 192 right now on CTXR, so be on the lookout for that. KLTO as well, another new high a day. It was 82s before, add 2 pennies to that. It is 184 now. So KLTO could be, you know, that quadruple digit winner. Here's 84s again. So it just got into the high of the day again and again. It could not shake that level. So somebody shorting up a storm or taking profits at these levels, be on the lookout. But I see CTXR just took out the high of the dang day again. So there it is. Be on the lookout though. We could reject 2 and we could reject 2 quite aggressively. Not saying that we will, I'm just saying be on the lookout for it. It probably behooves you to have some orders on the north side of 2. So if we do wick above 2, don't spend that much time there. You get the fill, right? Before it tanks all the way back down. So here's a 198 high day. Now it's 190, it's still 198. Are we inching up to 99s? Looks like there's somebody selling up a storm at 98, so we're unable to shake that seller at the moment. It remains a 198 high a day. Interesting look for these small cap gappers today. A lot of strong ones. CTXR and KLTO, chief among them here, Joseph.
Man, that's crazy. I'm curious to see if we can get that 4-digit return there on that one there. Shoot that one. That's
quadruple, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's
one,
crazy. 734%. I've only seen 1,001 sitting next to you, so that'd be really interesting. I mean, that's it. $1,000 in one of those, and then you're having a good time. But K Hoddle, thank you for pointing out this one. Katina, man, I see you're an archer. We're going to take a look at that one too.
Over there.
Archer, we're getting the work done. But here, okay, cool guys. We got a big time interview with Adara coming up. ETHU moving higher. Thank you, K Hoddle, for that one. We got Bitcoin climbing back towards those highs. Let's see what Adara's got.
Get it, Adara.
Here with us today is CEO of StreamX, Henry McPhee.
Man's leaning back, bro.
Being here with us today. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, great, thank you. And I think probably a great way to start this is to talk about another, I guess, crypto-related company here. We had that massive Circle IPO last week, of course, really well received by the market, by investors. So what does the response to that IPO say about the demand for crypto-related stocks right now, just as a whole?
I think it's amazing. Like, you know, the Circle IPO, it really set the tone for, I think, what we're going to see is a very bullish summer for crypto related stocks. You know, I think overall we're going to be in for a wild ride. We're lucky that we were able to, you know, get to the market even before the Circle IPO, and so we're going to be riding that very, very hard and very excited to be able to take advantage.
So with that in mind here, let's talk a little bit more here about the BSGM. What is the core vision and strategic advantage behind BSGM's BioSig merger and Nasdaq listing as one of the first publicly traded RWA tokenization companies for commodities?
So I think, you know, with our merger with BSGM, we've been able to take StreamX to the Nasdaq. And so, you know, the commodities industry itself is a $142 trillion industry. Our goal with this merger and to bring StreamX into BSGM is to be able to bring that market on chain. And as the first mover real-world asset company bringing commodities on chain, especially on Nasdaq, I think we have an amazing opportunity, and we have an amazing team behind us to be able to do that, backed by, you know, the likes of Sean Ruzin, Frank Justra. We recently announced that Trevor and Kellen from the Parcel team recently came on too. And so we're really moving quickly and excited to be able to really take this to the next level and expose and, you know, really work in a massive industry.
So let's talk a little bit more about the background here then with that in mind. So as the CEO here at this crucial moment for the company, how does your background in mining, engineering, and Web3 shape your leadership approach and define your critical priorities for BSGM in the initial 12 to 18 months of this company?
Yeah, so I think, you know, my background in mining engineering complements my background in crypto quite heavily. I've been working in both industries for around the same period of time. And by being, you know, a Web3 native, but with also the mining and mining engineering experience, you know, it's really a marriage of both. And so the commodities industry and the mining industry itself is something that's sort of looked at as an old industry. It hasn't really seen any innovation for the last, you know, 60 years as it's been operating. And so with tokenization and the ability to bring these assets on chain, I think we have the ability to disrupt, like I said, $142 trillion industry and really be able to take it to the next level.
So you mentioned earlier here too, Frank Gustra and Sean Rusin, both on your leadership and advisory team. So how is the expertise of these individuals in commodities and finance being actively integrated to shape BSGM's strategy and its operational execution?
So Sean Rusin and Frank Gustra, they're two legends in the commodities space. Frank himself has built multiple $50+ billion companies in wheat and gold, or wheat and precious metals, Gold Corp, and has been one of the largest gold bulls in the market. Sean Rusin as well has he built Canadian Malartic, which is the largest mine and was the largest mine in North America. Cisco Gold Royalties is another multi-billion-dollar company, Cisco Mining. And so by having them on our advisory board and being able to work with them is, very, very big for us. And we're in a spot that allows us to have access to assets and producers that a lot of other people don't, just because of our relationship and our close connection with them being on our advisory board.
That's definitely an advantage for sure. So let's end off here with talking a little bit more about this RWA tokenization. So can you talk about the company's strategic approach to transforming commodity investment and trading through this RWA tokenization, highlighting your key differentiators like Solana and your plans for navigating some challenges, I guess, with regards to regulation and market adoption?
Yeah, so on the regulation side, we are fully compliant, regulated, based in Canada, working on get broker-dealer in the U.S. as well. We have a very unique framework that we've developed over the last 2.5 years. With tokenization, it allows us to create financial instruments that are unique to the commodity space. And the whole thing with tokenization is the democratization, capital efficiency of assets. And I think that's really what the commodity space is looking for. As a first mover in this, we're sort of paving the path on the commodities angle and being able to bring that market to the public. And I think over time, we're going to be able to bring a very unique product to that and provide assets that are different, and very efficient to what we see out there right now.
Very exciting. Thanks again here for being with us. Henry McPhee, CEO of StreamX, trading on the Nasdaq as BSGM.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dara, for that. Thank you, Henry, as well.
Yeah.
Very young CEO.
Yeah.
Wow, good for him, bro.
Like a young chap.
Good-looking company, too. They're weaseling in on $900 million market cap. We're inching in on that Billy.
Yeah, Billy. That's a big-time number, and obviously a milestone.
A bad number there, man.
So, yeah, exactly. Guys, we're just slowly piecing it out here on IBIT. I don't have much, guys. About 5% left here on this trade, as you can see displayed. We'll zoom in on the lower time frames, but we've just been riding this trade since approximately 10 o'clock this morning. So yeah, a nice add. There was another opportunity to add there, but I'm like, I don't want to necessarily push my buttons, but sometimes you have to do that. But that's okay. I can't complain about that execution. I told you guys we're going to be looking to take some more off the top as well too, as we continuously construct new higher days. Ether holding up relatively well as well. K Hodl pointing that one out. So thank you very much for that one. Yeah, let's take a look at Lululemon. It's funny. So over the weekend, I was just going over some of these clothing names. Some of the stronger, like the luxury designer brands do significantly better than maybe kind of these, I'm not going to say it's not luxury, but the lower tiered ones. And you guys know where I stand on that point with some of these retail names. I mean, that's a tough look here in Lululemon. And then it establishes a new low, so down to 260. And yeah, they're not going to absorb much of the brunt force from these tariffs, guys. They're going to just relay it onto the consumer. So I think there's going to be other opportunities. And I think that's one thing that the consumer is getting used to, is just finding a cheaper, potentially more popular brand. So yeah, tough look there in Lululemon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I hit up Lulu on the weekend to see what they've got.
What they got going on?
I don't know, man. Like, I got to tell you, like, their color selection, why is everything got to be so
bright?
earth tone?
Yeah.
It's nothing that really strikes, at least for the men. I don't know what the women have over there on that side. I don't venture over there.
Yeah.
But I stay on the men's side, and I'm not very pleased with the color selection they've got lately. Like, I personally like Gymshark a little bit better in terms of colors right now. I even like Nike a little bit better in terms of colors. But yeah, Lulu, whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
On that side, shout out to Canada. But yeah. Oh, that's really
and I was kind of thinking, like, I find if you don't gain traction, I mean, Lululemon's been around for a while, but for me, it's like you go where all the kind of the popularity is, and if you go into the likes of California, where all the influencers are, and what they're wearing, you see them all wearing aloe. So again, if they start to drop in popularity from that standpoint, and you see aloe start to pick up steam in Gymshark, it's not a good look, and it's a really competitive space.
Well said, man, and it really is a very competitive space, and a lot of them, they use the same suppliers too, like the same Chinese suppliers, and there's like always these websites that you can go on that can tell you exactly where they're all getting suppliers, and you weasel over there and get things for half the cost, minus the brand label.
Minus the brand label, right? Exactly. So, and that's what it is. So it's like, okay, Lulu being probably one of the most popular at standpoint, but it's like, oh, what's the next thing? Aloe, everybody likes aloe. So everyone drops Lululemon and then moves over to the next one. And we've seen that with a lot of the sports brands that we were talking about, Under Armour, etc. So
White Shirt Monday, kind of something like that. All right, NA is really coming down aggressively here, and it just touched the volume weighted average price. Is this the right area to pick it up? Well, we're going to give this one to 10. So let's give this one a try. 9.95 we'll put as the stop. And then because it is a spready ticker, we have to give it a substantial amount of room on NA. So here we go. Where it bounced up into the 50s. So let's see if we can extract something here mid 40s and see what we get there. So NA 1187 high tanks as aggressively as you like. Like this one takes the elevator down and the escalator up. Where have we heard that expression before? Oh, that's like everywhere. So we'll wait to see if we can see whether this one wants to bounce back up, and just layer the orders, guys, because it is an awfully spready ticker, and sometimes it just doesn't hang out at that particular or in any particular area for any prolonged period of time. So NA up 57 2/3%, looking at holding the volume weighted average price, and by extension of that, the $10 level. We'll keep tabs on that. What's it called? Halted down, KLTO. This one aggressively down off that 184 high. Now, this was kind of on our radar that this would be the case now, okay? 184 high, it had 3 topping tail candles, all at that 1 mid to low 80 level. But if history is any guide, KTLO has found support at the 20 exponential average on multiple occasions on the day. Look at that big boy break. When we made that 164 area high, we tanked. We dropped all the way down to 109. But look what we held, the 20 exponential, and we didn't lose it for a while. So now we're halted down at the 20 exponential. I'll tell you what the theoretical auction price is in a second. If I can look over here, it is 138. So we are below the halt level, which was 146. So keep your eye on KTLO. Just because it held the 20 once doesn't mean it's going to do it over again, okay? There's going to come a time when this thing retraces. They're around for a good time, not a long time. CTXR to 238 high a day, and that was kind of topped off by a topping tail candle, 238 high a day, as it comes right back down into $2. So I'm going to give you some levels. The 10 exponential is currently in the 1 low 80s right now, so keep your eye out on that. And then you're looking at 1 low 60s, 163, 164. Basically, that's where the volume weighted average price is. So keep your eye out on that. As we look back over here to see what NA is doing, let's see if we can get some prints possibly into 11. But for now, we're going to send it to Adara at the big desk.
Here's Apple. I just want to remind you guys, about 20 minutes away here from the WWDC, or Worldwide Developers Conference 2025 keynote. That is, of course, Apple's conference. They focus on their new developments. Now, one of the biggest things on watch is going to be AI. We've heard reports from Bloomberg and also some commentary from noted supply chain analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, suggesting that we're not going to get a lot of brand new information here on AI. But either way, certainly something to watch out for. Apple, the stock anyway here, lower highs, lower lows for this one, guys. Back to you.
For that, Adara.
Yeah.
Should be super interesting to hear them say nothing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think that's the keynote. Yeah, I think, you know what I mean? Hopefully they come out with something a little bit different.
Look, Joseph,
and exciting.
You know, obviously they don't care what I think.
Yeah.
Right? But as a person who's invested in it, I've got every type of Apple product.
Yeah.
You know, not every, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I got the laptop, I got the iPad, I got this, I got the watch. You know what I mean? I actually don't have those. I use the work ones. I had them and then they broke.
Oh, okay.
It's my fault. I got them wet. But the point is, you know, as an Apple investor, as an Apple user, I care what this company does, obviously. And I don't mind not hearing anything as long as they get it freaking right. Get it right. I don't want to hear your words. I don't want to see any videos of things that you may or may not have in the dang pipeline. I want to see a phone in my hand, okay? I want to see a phone in my hand that I can actually test Apple Intelligence on, and it better not be, you know, locally run. I want to see it connect to ChatGPT. I want to see how ChatGPT integrates with Siri. You know what I mean? Like, shut the hell up about it already and just get it done.
Get it performed. Yeah.
I mean, this is, dude. We dropped chat in October 2022. It is June 2025. How hard can it be?
Well, people got fired. That's. I mean, it must be slightly difficult, but its competitors are coming out fierce. And the thing is, though, we talk about Apple always not being first to the dance, but I think they're past the fashionably late standpoint, and now they're just like extremely late to this. So think about how much ground they need to make to catch up to everyone. And if they don't get it right on this instance, then I think they're going to be in a world more trouble. I don't think that that's going to be the case because, again, we've mentioned before, they're usually not the first, but they do get it the best. But in this instance, they absolutely need to get it right and be the best at it because the potential is there, right? For me personally, I think Siri is garbage. I'm at the outdoor workout gym trying to change music. It's
hot trash.
It's like, okay, you have to take that next step and upgrade Siri to that point where you can have that kind of AI agency to it and kind of just get it to do everything you need on your iPhone.
There you go.
And doesn't need to do.
I mean, like, and the thing is too, like, just using Gemini, like, because we have enterprise at work, so I told you we got Gemini for free. I was using the Gemini voice assistant on the phone. It's super good. So you have to imagine all the Android phones at some point are going to have this on there.
Right in there.
How does that shift like the, you know, I don't move the needle, so to speak, right? Like, it shifts the momentum in favor of Android. As being the better OS. And to be, you know, there's always been those people that love Android because it's open. You can kind of install APKs as you like. Apple's more of a closed system. So I get that there's been people who lean left and lean right. But when you look at the overall execution, you have to say iOS, a smoother experience. That's not the truth. Easy trading computer, guys. So if you're interested in that, if your computer sucks and you always end up getting partial fills or you're lagging and there are issues with your execution, it likely has to do with your computer sucking. So make sure your computer doesn't suck by getting an Easy Trading computer there. Shout out to the great folks there at Easy Trading Computer.
There you go. You scan that QR code and get the full guide.
It was an easy of an ad read as I could get, baby.
Get it,
the best it's ever done. Yeah, I mean, for the iPhone, I'm just waiting for that next large upgrade. I think it's way past due. You know, they were promoting Apple Intelligence for a better part of a year, and then they actually really dropped the ball on that, and you have nothing. There's literally nothing. Marquise Brownlee is like, yeah, but he's sitting there waiting for something. There's no beta or anything along those lines. So for me, the next question is how far behind, and when is that going to be that final release instead of kind of releasing it in two-part series, which I don't think really did well.
I want to mention something else. You and I were talking about crypto and how it could be disrupted by quantum on Friday. And so we didn't really we talked about what we thought, but we didn't actually like go into the science behind it. So I did a little bit of reading on the weekend. It looks as if the blockchain itself can be upgraded to kind of be protected against quantum. Not using quantum, but using a different type of encryption system. I don't remember the names. There's 3 specific encryption systems that are said to be, I don't want to use this phrase, but they called it quantum proof. Whether it is or not, we'll have to wait and see. But the point is, Joseph, it needs mass adoption by all the miners, all the people that are involved.
That's who provides the security.
There you go. So it's completely possible, according to this article that I read, for crypto or Bitcoin, excuse me, so we're not talking about other cryptocurrencies, just Bitcoin to be quantum proof or to remain secure in a mass quantum world.
Nice.
But it requires upgrades, and it doesn't use quantum computing in and of itself.
Well,
so
I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I think by the likes of some of these larger Bitcoin miners, like obviously the Marathon Digitals, Riots, et cetera, they're going to obviously want to adapt to that, because why would you want to throw out all that hard year's work?
It's almost a necessity,
right? You need to upgrade
right?
it. It's just the evolution of kind of what's going on
There you go.
with the crypto space. So yeah.
And there it is, guys. And the reason we talk about that, so Bitcoin again having a fantastic day. Joseph, it's up 100. It's up above $108,000 right now, man.
Good stuff.
So here we go again, guys, as we accumulate towards that higher end of the range. You know, it's not a hard and fast rule. I'd say 110,000 is a bit of the area top. If we can really zoom by the 110, maybe we can start using 110 the way that we're using 100 now.
Exactly.
You saw the way that 100 got defended?
Or the previous 75.
Bang. There you go.
And I think that's going to be the next case,
there
right?
There you go.
I was listening to, like I mentioned earlier, I was listening to Sailor over the weekend, and he was just telling me there's actually only you can only buy 450 Bitcoin. There's only 450 new Bitcoin a day. And this guy's trying to absorb it all. He's obviously the mega bull of all crypto, of all Bitcoin, I guess I should say. But yeah, it's a lot of interesting stuff to listen to these guys talk about it. Some of the analysts and their price targets is obviously something that I'm really curious about. But why they're doing this, right? So yeah, I mean, Sailor's a really, I think he's an interesting mind for sure. He's a bright individual. It's his second stint. I think he definitely wasn't involved, but he was involved in some other things that didn't go over so well before that. Yeah, he had something before. Yeah. I think he had something going on before that didn't work out too good for him, but this is working out. SPY is breaking out. We'll talk some more crypto here, but SPY is really starting to move. You can see these consecutive higher lows here, guys, on the day. So if we just draw this trend line, until this is breached, I don't necessarily want to be looking for any form of shorts. Jay Lee, that's what I was saying. If the big names were starting to climb higher, I don't want to be going against them. And that's why I didn't short the Qs, because you've seen that we were holding up the volume weighted average price relatively well. So there it is on SPY. Palantir is in its own world as usual there, guys. We'll pull up Palantir. Again, trading all the way back up to 130 here and change. You get that 5-minute opening drive that was relatively weak, and then it hasn't even looked back here. So look at that trend line, just holding it steady. And if there was a moving average, it would be holding the 9 just to do how strong that trend line.
All right, Henry Chung. LAES, the ticker, is the company using quantum computer for cybersecurity. I didn't actually know that. Thank you, Henry. Jag also says, from someone who has been in tech, till we know what quantum can do, you can't quantum proof anything. The proofing will happen for sure, but I think it's too early. So I don't obviously have the technical knowledge in order to respond to that. I'm basically saying what the article that I read, which was obviously scholarly in nature, said in the article. And there are 3 different types of encryption systems, I'll find them for you in a second over here, that are set to be able to defend against quantum computing. I'll get them for you, and then maybe you can kind of tell me exactly what you think about that and whether it's just all hype and whether, you know, you're sticking with your opinion there. All right, guys.
Ready?
BSGM. Meet the future of commodity finance under ticker symbol BSGM. Through a bold share exchange transaction with StreamX, BSGM is one of the first Nasdaq-listed companies pivoting fully into real-world asset tokenization. It's backed by icons like Frank Gustara and Sean Rusin. BSGM is building a blockchain-powered platform to bring commodity markets on the chain. That's smart. The $142 trillion commodity market just found its digital future. Shout out to BSGM. I heard that the Australian, equity markets tried to switch into blockchain.
Attempted. Yeah, because,
so you know about this.
Yeah, because their systems were really old and everything was really outdated, and then they had that attempt where they... I don't think it worked out that good, to be honest with you. But I think there's still some things to go around it. But for smart contracts and everything along those lines, we were talking about Walmart using those, and they utilize the options chain as well, too. So you can actually go down the supply chain with certain products, and then also in the likes of Microsoft and some of these game makers, they use it as well too. So for payouts, very interesting stuff. So again, because there's so many components to certain things. It's hard to keep track, and when you have the ability to utilize smart contracts, you can just pay out the music, whatever producer in the video game, et cetera, et cetera. There we go. There goes Bitcoin, guys. We caught that fill. We posted up at 6150s. We now broke through that high a day. We wicked there, went up to almost 6154s, and then we rejected it really aggressively, but I posted up there at 6150 just in case we were to catch any form of fill. But there goes the Qs. They're breaking out now. I want to see who's leading this race. I want to take a look at Apple because we're only 8 minutes away to the start of the WWDC. That's going to be interesting. I want to see what they got going on over there and how the underlying and how the stock is actually going to react. But what caused the Qs to really, really pop like that? For us, I think we got to go through that Mag 7. I'm going to take a look at Amazon and Microsoft. Okay, so there you go. Guys, we were talking about this breakout. Okay, now Bitcoin's really tanking aggressively. So, yeah, I don't got too much left there, guys. It's all right if it comes back to my break even. We caught that trend throughout the session. But here we go, Amazon, breaking through those key resistance zones. Take a look at the volume. Beautiful stuff. Stair step higher, and then it's just sustained throughout this whole move as it continues to climb and appreciate in price. Let's take a look at Microsoft. We got some breaking news, and I'm sure there we go. Microsoft also breaking through some of these highs a day and key resistance zones. Mag 7 leading the way. You're seeing that reflected in the Qs. Adara.
Nothing market specific here, guys, but I do have something on Apple. Wall Street Journal reporting that Apple's going to be unveiling some new real-time language translation capabilities for calls and messages. According to the Wall Street Journal, Sharif booing here, possibly because Google already kind of unveiled the same thing. It's nothing groundbreaking or especially new, but potentially new here to Apple. This on my chart, this is on Apple. This is Gilead. Keep an eye on GILD. Josh Brown suggesting this one as a long on CNBC as of a couple minutes ago. We're just waiting on WWDC to kick off, so guys, get your water ready. Stay tuned. I'll be covering that. Back to you.
Yawn.
Yeah, yawn. Big
yawn.
You know, no, but Sharif, it honestly, it's
I don't want to hear it, bro.
It's slightly frustrating because it's like, I don't care about Genmoji. I don't even know what Genmoji is. And then now you're going to drop a language thing? Like, come on. Like, bro, no, seriously.
I need, man, I don't even want to get started.
You have the smartest people for potentially.
What is happening at that company?
You have some of the smartest people on the planet, and this is what you come up with?
What's happening over there, bro?
That's the brainstorming.
All right, guys. OMH. It's going crazy to the high side. It's halted at $1.43. Sorry to digress so quickly, Joseph, but you know how these bad boys are. They're around quickly there. So OMH, guys, we're going to flip to the 5 here because we don't look at the 1 anymore. OMH halted to the upside, $1.43. It's up 137%. It's on that good stuff right now, so be careful. OMH is a ticker I'm talking about. But JAG, this is what I'm talking about, JAG. So here are the 3 types. Lattice, is this, I don't know how to say this, lattice-based cryptography. For example, crystals, dilithium, frotochem. These are the types of different encryptions. There's also hash-based encryption. Some of the examples, XMSS, as well as this looks like Sphinx or something, Sphinx Plus, and code-based cryptography like Michaelis or whatever, however you say that. So those are the 3 that I read about. Just ask Chad about it now because I completely forgotten what the names of. Okay, we're going to go to Darren in 1 second. OMH halted at 144. Now down halted at 129. The market giveth and the market taketh away, Adara.
But I hear an AAPL, of course, WWDC on watch. We have a new headline coming in. UBS here, of course, analyst coming through to saying apparently only 17% of global respondents noted that they expected to buy an iPhone over the next 12 months. Apparently that's the lowest reading in 10 years. So interest in the iPhone, according to this one survey cited by UBS, dropping quite significantly here. Back to you.
For that, Adara. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm still sitting in this trade. You can see Bitcoin coming back to the lower end of the range there, guys. But we caught that fill right at 6150. Yeah, and we've just been sitting in this, letting it cook up, just trading the ranges and waiting for those new highs of days to be printed here today. All right, guys. Yeah, let's take a look at Meta. It was strong earlier in the morning, but now giving up a little bit of its move, trading below the volume weighted average price. I think it's really important to note that with this WWDC coming in here, just you want to focus on Apple and where we're currently sitting at. For me personally, if some bad news comes out and Apple decides that it wants to move to the south side, there's not going to be much defense here held up, even though NVDA was selling throughout the day, and you can see the Qs held up relatively strong. But that's because we got Tesla continuing to climb higher and Microsoft continuing to climb higher, while NVDA and some of the chips are slightly pulling back. But that's what I got going on here today, guys. Literally traded this one name. I'm looking for something else to set up. The Qs are strong. Palantir is just, again, living on a different planet. Everything else is irrelevant. It's just Palantir's world, and we happen to be living in it. Yeah, that's looking really good there from that standpoint. And yeah, let me know what you guys are looking at. If you want to go over any specific names or you want to take a look at anything from an options standpoint, just put it in the chat. I'll go over some things and we can definitely look at the chain because I'm curious to see what we got going on. With that being said, yeah, let's actually do that for Apple right now, guys. Let's take a look at the options chain to see what we got going on with Apple and if there's any levels of open interest. I mean, if we have a call wall, look how excited I just got. If we have a call wall anywhere on Apple that's north of where we're currently trading, then I will be potentially looking for a short on this one because if we get that velocity and the momentum really start to kick in and the investors don't like what they hear from this keynote coming with Apple, then adios muchachos.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
210. 210, 206 was our high. We got 20,000 open contracts at that 210 strike price. But then 205, we have 18,700. I think that's going to be the third highest out of a grouping. I'm seeing the next is at 215, but we're not worried about that because that is slightly far away from where we're currently trading at. So 18,205. I'm going to be looking for some continuous rejections. If we blow past that, then we can definitely run into that 210 area. Maybe not today, but eventually throughout the week. But that's what I'm going to be keeping my eye on. If we reject 205 aggressively, going to be looking for a short on AAPL.
A lot breaking out right now. Joseph KWM, chief among them. Look at this high at daybreak right there. 55% and going, taking out that $5 flat top. So we were talking about this when I tried to pick some up at VWAP. It never really let me in. So this is really on me because this one was very, very respectful, as you can see, of the volume weighted average price and its area previous area resistance. I'm talking about that pre-market high, the double top at around 6 a.m. was basically overlapping with the volume weighted average price, and you got a lot of price action holdups right at that top end of the range. So KWM on 528 high a day, looking to take out 55%. KLTO did dip in, but it did hold that $1.40, and so here it goes again to the high side right now. Let's pull up KLTO. And nothing really doing on this one. We're just going to pack our patience for a high at daybreak. That takes us above 184. We're far removed away from that price action. Just to give you an idea, though, if you're looking for dip trades here on KLTO, maybe VWAP comes in at some point in the day, but VWAP is just like a couple of pennies right now south of that dollar. So, you know, it's far away from the current price action right now. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, look for another area of support at which it's holding up. To me, I observed possibly that $1.40 area as an area of support. We held once, twice, three times, even though this was a bamboozler. It did dip out probably and get some people stopped out. And then right back to the high we go again. So let's see if we can take out that 160 right now on KLTO. I'm also keeping my eye here on CTXR. We have this kind of downward shaped effect where we got into that 238. Now we're south of 2. Now it looks like we're actually using $2 as that area resistance, but we're putting in higher lows on the wicks. So this could be the beginning of what we call that curling effect and another attempt possibly at a high daybreak above that 2 1/3. So we'll keep tabs on CTXR. Very strong name. Guys, the Apple keynote is going to start momentarily. It is now 1 o'clock, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's when we were expecting. So be on the lookout. Sorry? It already started. Okay, I thought it started at 1, my bad. So apparently it already started. So be on the lookout right now for any price action movements on Apple. As you know, announcements could be made. I'm just looking at the side chart here. Apple below the volume weighted average price right now. So really not resolving to the high side. Protesters interrupt Apple software developer event and is removed by security. So are already getting beef like California is not on fire enough, bro, right now, man. Like San Francisco is lit up with protests. LA is lit up with protests. It's protest central out there in one of the most beautiful states I've ever seen, physically, that is. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but it looks like as if, yeah, the protests have found their way into the Apple event, WWDC. I'll keep an eye out. That will report to you as it is necessary. KWM, I'm still keeping an eye on this one, guys, because it's not giving up the ghost here. Trading near the high at 534. Fantastic look. Last but not least, NA. We just took out Beakweather there at around 1088. The next one just below $11. So let's set up another profit taker here, maybe at 11.25 or so. We'll see if we can get something in and around that level. So NA continues to trade above the volume weighted average price. So yeah, that is it. Matt Fitzpatrick, California is beautiful. Yeah, man, my sister lives in Orange County. I love that state. I wouldn't live there, but I love to go visit.
If there was less taxes, would you live there?
If there were, well, they pay less taxes than we do here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, and they're like the highest tax jurisdiction. Them in New York, I think. Fact check me on that,
That's crazy. We got
all right, what happened up there, Dara?
As Apple pushes here into VWAP, it's worth noting Tim Cook just stepped onto the stage at Apple Park for the WWDC 2025 keynote. Keep an eye on this. Clearly, we've been waffling for quite some time between that 204.60 and 204.80 level. Let's see if we break out in either direction as the keynote begins. Back to you.
For that,
yeah. So shout out to all the love in California. You guys just need to relax and have something called Do West Fest, and then everybody can just come together and dance and party on the streets. That's what we were up to on the weekend. Yeah, it was a really good time.
Do West Fest. That looked really good. Did you hit that up?
Dude, I was there. That's what I'm saying. I was outside all day.
I didn't know you. I thought you were sessioning. I kept getting
no, I was outside
videos of that.
Yeah, I was working out. So I woke up bright and early, 8:30 in the morning. We hit the outdoor workout gym. Sun was shining. Obviously, tarp off on that one. And then we came back, and then we went to Do West Fest throughout the whole day and just spent outside. Saturday, yeah. Oh, you were there too on Saturday? Yeah, Ben was there too from the Algo Boys.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people were there. Yeah, it was a great time. Everybody just coming together. I think that was really needed, especially after the election and everything that we got going on. It was just good to see the city of Toronto, everybody just gathering at one, and then just the ultimate street party. Yeah, it was an absolute blast. I won't even lie or anything along those lines. It was a really good time. So if you're ever in Toronto during the summer, so we have some pretty good street festivals from here. The next one is going to be Carabana.
There's so many.
I'm going to be honest with you. I had more fun.
Way more before Carabana.
Yeah. What else do we got?
I don't know, but
there's Taco Fest. That's a pretty good one as well too. Beer Fest.
And Rib Fest. Is there barbecue?
Italian Fest. Taste of the Dan.
Taste of the Dan. That's definitely that's after Carabana.
Yeah, I think so. Later. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely after Carabana. There's a lot of good stuff there, and go and enjoy it. If you're ever in the city and you have the ability to come in, enjoy some of the Toronto festivals. They're really good stuff there. All right, guys, let's get right back into this market. Yeah, we were talking about Apple's open interest not too long, and there it goes, bang. We're getting a big-time pop here in AAPL. That's exactly what we want to see right now, guys, especially with what we got going on. I'm pretty sure Dara just brought to us Tim Cook's going to be talking here momentarily, or he is currently talking. We're seeing that volume start to step in. That's a positive sign for this breakout. We don't want to see too much selling pressure within these candles. Now we want to see this move sustained. So hopefully the investors like this, we continue to appreciate, because that's going to drag the market higher. You can see that the Qs are hovering around the high a day. And in order for it to construct a new one, we're going to want to see Apple start to participate and NVDA slowly start to grind higher back towards the volume-weighted average price. And we mentioned this before. When some of these big names are lagging, you've seen how Tesla's been trading today. You've seen how Microsoft's been trading, and you've seen how Google's been trading. Now that we have the likes of Meta, Amazon is trading well as well, but Meta and NVDA, they really start to pick up some steam. That can bring the Qs into an additional leg higher, and that's what we're experiencing right now as Apple breaks through the volume-weighted average price, that volume stepping in. Let's see if it can break a key pivot here with that high a day, Sharif.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on any headlines coming in.
Oh, there you go, big-time tank there.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Adara.
Here in Apple, as we have an individual from Apple's executive team by the name of Craig talking here about Apple Intelligence. Basically, one of the things he said here as we get this pop and drop in AAPL is that They needed time, I guess, to work with their Siri to updates, and so they're going to hopefully have that within the year. But that, of course, not necessarily something that is going to be really exciting for intraday investors. We go from just above 205.30 all the way back to 205 here as investors, I guess, digest. We're, what we kind of expected here, slower than expected AI updates for AAPL. Back to you.
Okay, so they're talking about Apple Intelligence here. Talking about Apple Intelligence here, they better get this right. They're talking about the foundational framework, which to me sounds like the neural network. If you guys have been following Tesla's AV push, you know what neural networks are for FSD. That's what it strikes like to me. So apparently there's going to be a local L or SML, small SLM, small language model on the phone. That should be interesting there. That is really good for privacy. We've seen this. I talked to you guys about this before. You can go to for law firms, for example, when they have to have all their client data locally, not on the cloud for privacy reasons, etc. So they do these local LLMs on not on the network, not on the internet, on the local area network, the LAN, and they use it like that. So we'll keep that in mind. So yeah, I'm just listening to the keynote right now, seeing if there's going to be anything of note to report on while with that. So we'll keep you guys apprised. Yeah. As we do that, I'm keeping my eye here on NA, looking for another move back up on this one. Not much happening on this one at the moment. UMAC I had a dip trade on that I don't think is accurate anymore. And I don't think it's accurate for a number of reasons. One, because it's not dropping below 9, so that's not the money fill anymore. In addition, that upward channel on UMAC that we were waxing poetic about has kind of died. And it's been consolidative, I want to say, since basically 1040 onwards. It's been basically locked in a range, 9 1/3 to the high side, essentially 9 to the downside. So anything really here, then I'm not going to really be looking for anything like that. Oh my God, it's Iga Hauren again. Shout out to my man Iga Hauren. Yo, Sharif. Yo, Iga Hauren. How you doing, my man? That means good guy.
Good guy?
In Mandarin. Yeah. I have a little bit of a Mandarin update there. I could possibly here be switching at a Duolingo. Apparently this could happen again, where they flip the script everything on me. Yeah. So I downloaded a new one today called where is it at over here, Joseph? It is called Hello Chinese.
Okay.
Apparently it's a lot more structured and it won't be updating as much, but they kind of got like the Duolingo format. So if you're
there you go.
If you've been using that a while, right? So, all right, guys. So we talked about UMAC over here. Let's talk a little bit about our friend KLTO, because this one is the one we were talking about could be a quadruple digit winner. Bit of a consolidation level right now between a $1.40 to a $1.60. We'll see if this one wants to resolve to the high side. The next peak weather here at 60s, and then I'm looking at basically waiting for the high of the day breakout 184. CTXR continues to hold up above VWAP, but it has been a plethora of lower lows and lower highs since we made that 238 high. At the moment, though, we're still holding it from 139. So let's see if it holds up above VWAP. VWAP right now on my chart about 167. So I moved up my stop to a loss of VWAP. So see how this one wants to end up doing. But it's really the KWM show right now, trading at the high of the day. And here it comes, coming down off that 534 high. Now, we were talking about that area resistance level being $5. If we've cleared it by 34 pennies, can we now use 5 as an area of support? Let's give this one a try. We're going to wait at 505, and then I'm going to give this one to the breach of 580. So we'll see if we get something here on KWM. It's up 53% right now. Certainly not a bad look, but definitely not at the highs as we speak. Joey, Hello Chinese is great, but you have to pay at some point, sadly. Okay, so it's not one of those ones where you can just basically listen to ads or watch ads. Iga Hauren, Sharif is getting so much better in Chinese. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you, Iga Hauren, man. I'm busting my, you know what, every dang day. I'm at least doing an hour 6 times a week. I'll take Saturdays off typically because I'm busy, but I'm smashing this, man. And I do it while I'm on my other job, man. So I'm not going to give up. Doesn't matter time or not. I'm learning my Mandarin. I want to be able to have a legitimate conversation with your boy Chao back within a year. That's my goal.
All right. I think you're making some good progress there for sure.
We're gonna give it a try, man.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. Well, I'll say it when we get back. What's up, Adair?
I was gonna say send it to Adara in Chinese.
I don't even know it.
Keep an eye here on AAPL. This one keeps dropping. Nothing really negative coming out of this, but I guess people hoping for AI and big AI updates are really not going to get them. Apple just unveiled its liquid glass technology. They also said they're opening up access for any app to tap directly into their LLM model at the core of Apple Intelligence. And they've been talking a little bit here as well about redesigning their operating system. So nothing huge in the space of AI. Investors clearly not a fan of AAPL dropping. Back to you.
Dave, this is what I'm talking about. This is why it's such a beautiful tool. It's honestly just throughout my, even learning here with you guys and just focusing on some things in the options chain, look where that high was, and then look where we've seen the concentration of open interest. It's crazy. We've seen that in 2 examples today, and then in countless throughout our duration here, just focusing and monitoring the options chain. So there you go. You got to a high of 205.31, and then it said see you later and decided to tank lower. Now we're trading at 202. Liquid glass, it's not it, apparently, Sharif. They're not liking it on Wall Street. 202.49 and change. As it broke through some key support levels, it didn't want to go in the opposite direction. Supply zone wasn't attractive enough for us to require enough demand in order to break through those specific levels. Now you can see we're continuously tanking with absolute force to the downside there, Sharif. So really, really tough look on AAPL. Google doing the opposite here, almost continuing to climb, and looks like it wants to break some key resistance zones. So you can see that we have this flat top right there, but these consistent higher lows forming that wedge. Which direction is it going to go? Wait for that volume to step in. If it does punch through 175 or 176, we'll call it flat, then you have the ability to continuously climb higher. I mentioned the levels of open interest. We've seen the concentration at that 170 strike price, and then now we're slowly lifting week after week. Those increments, in increments, sorry. So we're going 175, 177.5, etc. Before they're around 160, 170. So good look, some bullish sentiment here in GOOGL, and I think this is a good name to get in still. I mean, what are we off for those all-time highs? We're still about 15% from those previous all-time highs there in Google, so you can still get this name at a discount, Sharif.
Absolutely, Joseph. Well said, my man. All right, keeping an eye out now on KWM. So here's the $5 dip. It has to hold this area here. Otherwise, we're gonzino on this one. I'm just going to pause the Apple Intelligence keynote that I'm listening to there because I'm not even really absorbing anything from it, to be quite honest with you. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And then, sorry, Ram, so I'm going to log back into Unity, so you can message me anytime. Let me know about any of the ad reads we have. So we're just logging back into that bad boy right now. Show yourself, Unity. Okay, it's not opening.
Oh, bang. Oh, let's go, later. Bitcoin.
Take it, Joseph.
Yeah. Can we pull up my screen here momentarily? I know Katina Man's in the Dollar Club. Is it the Apple Dollar Club? You can't hear me. He's zoned in right now. All right, I seen him hit that dollar. He's locked in. Traders got to trade. That's exactly what we're cooking up here. Wow, what a big-time move there in Bitcoin. This is exactly what we want to see. We'll take a little bit more off right there, and we catch that fill as we punch in the high day. Look at the displayed here in the tape. I mean, yeah, there we go. Another solid day, another big-time move here in Bitcoin. I wouldn't be looking to short that just yet unless you're talking about Apple, Henry said. But there you go. Volume stepped in. We punched through that high a day. We take a little bit more there off of IBIT. Working out to be a really nice trade on the day, Sharif.
Well said, Joseph.
Thanks.
All right, let's keep an eye out now on KWM as it comes right back into the high. So it does find support at 498, back into 514. So we'll see if this one wants to print to the high side. Keep your eye out for that 534 high a day. So find support, as we've mentioned, in between the 10 and the 20. I'm less likely to think that it's in between the 10 and the 20 this time, and more of a $5 hold, because $5 was a level we really couldn't shake, right? So let's see if we can shake it this time. CTXR also finding support again at this this level and looking, moving back to the high side. Where's my CTXR one? There we go. So we were talking about this one kind of doing that curling effect with a bunch of bottoming tail candles. That's all nice and good, but I still see lower high, lower high, lower high. And we don't change that tune until we can clear that $2 level. And then that $2 level, we're still looking at 2 1/3 as that area resistance. So keep your eye out for CTXR, $2, the first area of resistance, then 233-ish as that second area of resistance. Then I'm keeping my eye on KLTO, because KLTO can't seem to find any buy orders right now. It has been a downward channel since we put in that 184 high, and now it's barely holding on to 140. The thing is, though, we're in like no man's land right now with KTLO, and the reason I feel that way is because we don't have any moving averages that are below us, and the volume weighted average price is at that $1. Well, we're showing 142. I mean, how can you base any trades off that? That's literally a 40% drop, so keep your eye out on that. I would get out of this one personally if this one was to give up that $1.25. That $1.25, I feel like, you know, there was definitely support in and around there. We had a lot of chop and churn in that $1.25 area, so if it gives up the ghost, or you could look to this area here, a $1.10. A $1.10 initially was resistance, and then it acted as support. So if a $1.10 goes, you can be looking at that level as well. So that's what I'd be looking at, guys. UMAC continues to take out highs, though, into the, well, obviously to the high side. 947 now, the high of the day. This one looks like it might be taking out that $0.50 level awfully soon. We were talking about this one kind of being a bit of a range for the last couple of hours. It's getting above that level at the moment. 947 high day. Go ahead, Adara.
I'm just trying to tell you guys the vibe of what's been happening at this Apple keynote. As the stock continues to drop, we are knocking on the door as of right now, $200. So what's happening here is we do have this individual, I believe his name is Craig, during this keynote, listing a variety of features that have been updated and saying, oh, well, you guys didn't like this, so we've changed it back to this. Well, I think the one thing that investors and shareholders are really hoping for here were updates on Apple Intelligence. We're not getting these at all. The company continues to seem, at least based on this presentation, focus on other aspects of the user experience. Investors and traders are not happy. This stock keeps dropping. It's right on the day now, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. What do you got, Joseph?
Katina Man short Apple 203 there, so really nice look from him there, continuing to climb lower. Now we're hitting the 200s, 264. That wasn't it. It's unfortunate, but enough of Apple. We'll talk some more Apple here, guys. I'll pull it up here momentarily, and we'll pull up Katina Man's screen. You get to see that momentarily as well, guys. So there you go, 203. He's short. He's short from 203. Bang, we like that one. The break of this key support level, he's like, let me follow this momentum. Let's follow the volume. And as he said, traders got to trade. So very good look there, Katina Man. What are you listening to in your ear there as well, too, brother? You can't hear me. He's zoned in. All right, then. We'll focus on what we got going on with IBIT. Let's see if we can construct another high on the day. I'm looking for that 6170 level. Let's break through that. That's going to be the next specific target. I mentioned, hey, did we put in too much of a move from yesterday for it to be continued throughout today's session? Maybe, possibly, but buyers are starting to step back in here, and they're getting a little bit more aggressive as we punch through some key levels. I mentioned 62 and 63. We do have a little bit of a supply zone, but if we get super aggressive, then I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. It's nothing crazy. It's 23,000 open contracts here, 28,000 open contracts there. So that is enough supply if there is demand that requires us to continue to climb higher. But first we need to hit those. But I think by the end of the week, we will see $63 here on IBIT. And that's going to put us close to that all-time high on Bitcoin. So that's what we got going on. Apple's still continuing to hover around those lows, guys. We'll pull that up here. I don't know why I pull it up. I'll pull it up on this chart to see what we got going on, AAPL. And then we'll also analyze it from a daily perspective as well. So there you go. The volume momentum really kicking in. You don't want to go against that too aggressively. You just want to follow that. And then you can see here on the daily, we're heading towards some key support levels, and if those break, then you're going to want to look for that next step, and that's going to be in the mid 90s, right? So you get 195, and then even in the lower 190s. So that would be not a good look for this market, especially if we want to see it continue to climb higher. But Apple, really weak on the session, down 1 1/3, Shreve.
All right, I'm keeping my eye on KLTO because it's trying to work back above that $160. We still have a bit of a downward channel though, but I feel like we have a lot of support at that $140 area. Can't really seem to close below that $140, but that's kind of like not exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for support at the $1.40. I'm looking for a move back into that area of resistance at that $1.84. So that's the case on KLTO at the moment. The problem now is with CTXR. So CTXR, we've got long at CTXR at a $1.39. Here comes that $1.70. And the reason I'm talking about it at this level is because this is an obvious area of resistance, that $1.60 area. And then above that area at a $1.60, we've got the volume weighted average price. So we have a bit of a buffer zone here between my entry and the current price action where the support is expected to be. So as I look this at a little bit more, it's VWAP's not that $1.70, it's a $1.67. So it's literally like 7 or 10 pennies max here that you can call this the support zone. From the breakout area above 160 where the VWAP is at 167. So let's see, does CTXR find any support here? It hasn't been able to put any higher highs or higher lows since basically making that 238 high of day touch and then all the way back down now into the volume weighted average price. So does it find support here? Now it's touching VWAP. 168 just showed up. All right, bouncing up into 172. So there are some orders that are triggering here on CTXR at the volume weighted average price. So keep your eye out on that. Bovin telling me OMH is also moving up. So let's take a look at OMH to see what this one is all about. Let's have a look. I feel like we were looking at this one earlier, Bovin. Yeah, this one was the halter, right? Yeah, this one's been halting to no end. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 halts. Of those 7, 2 are down, 5 up. So you can get it there, and you can probably obviously tell, given how close we are to the high of day, printing 166, high of day 179. I like this one, Bovin, but the liquidity is what it is on it because it's barely able to stay open. I like that $1.50 defend area, and you could see that halt level initially was at a $1.44, and these 3 candles here barely able to breach that $1.50. So maybe in between that $1.40 to $1.50 are the money fills, assuming we make a lower high, which we haven't really been doing. When you look at these 3 candles here, it's higher lows on each and every one of them. So yeah, up 175%, very respectable name, but definitely having issues with liquidity as it's kind of having trouble staying open. So we'll keep tabs on OMH, but I like this one, Bovin. We're gonna substitute this one in for MNTS. We're gonna put OMH in its spot. MNTS is now negative on the day, so yeah, it's probably the right thing to do there. So keep tabs on that. I'm also simultaneously watching CTXR as it, again, finds support at that volume-weighted average price. But that's, again, not the end of the story here. We need to not just see support at VWAP, but the printing of higher highs and higher lows, and then that curling effect to move back up to the upside. So we'll see about that. Anything below, I want to say 155, mid 150s, high 150s, that's the end of this trade. It has to hold this level over here. This was a breakout level. If it gives up the breakout level, then there's really no point, Joseph. So.
Yeah, nice trade there, though. That's a really nice one. Okay, Apple just put in a new low a day there, guys. Continuously bleeding one time. Yeah, I mean, one dance as well, too. Amazon's moving the complete opposite direction, putting in a new high of day, while Apple is constructing a new low a day, now about to tap into 200. And you can see the weakness displayed here in the tape as well, guys. So that is not a positive sign. You can see those aggressive orders at the bid and below the bid as it continuously flushes, and then we're not overly reactive. There we go. Okay, we get a little bit of a bounce right there in AAPL. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it. I was gonna sing a song, but then I didn't want to butch. I say, "Don't go chasing waterfalls," right? You know what I mean? But then I didn't. I don't want to. That's Aaliyah, right?
No, man. That's what's it called? TLC.
That's it. There.
Death Cab for Cutie cover of that track.
Say that again, Randy.
Death Cab for Cutie.
Death Cab
for the rock.
Cute. Oh.
Okay. So there we go.
That's not a good look.
The Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah. I don't know. I heard death and I.
And then immediately it's like, okay, we'll find something more positive. Maybe if it was Life Cab for Cutie, we would like that one. But yeah, let's kind of zoom in here on Apple and get to these lower time frames. See if we can find anything that says, hey, we're gonna get a small bounce here. starting to form some indecision prints. So there you go. You have your risk profile defined right there, guys. So that's a nice hammer at these lows. Maybe I'll take a little swing on that, risk a couple dollars there, because I'm just slowly taking these last bit of shares. I only have about a 1 or 2% left here on IBIT, so I can get involved in something else. I'll take a little bit more off as we reject 61.65 there on IBIT, but this is a good hammer. So if it cracks that low, then looks to get out of it, then we'll just look and reassess to see if there's going to be any more of those prints. But that's a good signal right there for a potential bounce. I'm not saying that we're going to get all the way back towards the volume weighted average price, but Gorev's seeing what I'm seeing. He's trying to take advantage of that. I'm going to be keeping my eye on it. I'm going to look to get involved in a little bit here on Apple, Shreve.
Sorry, just give me a second while I put it in stop.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I'm going to do the exact same thing here. I'm going to start really, really small to see if this gets working, and then we'll just slowly add if it does. So I'm not going to get too heavily invested in this. Put on a solid trade here on IBIT for throughout the day. I think this is going to be my primary target. So there you go. You can see we're long 201.03s there in AAPL. We cracked 200. I'm out of this trade, Shree.
All right, guys, let's do the news. We'll take a moment to kind of chill out a little bit, and we'll talk about what is moving things. Obviously, we're not going to read Apple because Dara's giving us real-time breaking news, on Apple. So let's talk a little bit of Bitcoin. Where's my friend Bitcoin at right now? It is at 108,387. So on the way possibly to $110,000. Traders, that's what they're watching. They're watching a clean break and hold. Break and hold, not just break, above 106, with the bulls aiming for about 110,000 in Q2. There was around $107 million in liquidations that occurred in the past 24 hours. Basically, shorts getting wiped out as Bitcoin moved into that key area of resistance again. And the fear and greed index, which has kind of been, I don't want to say a lagging indicator, but it already tells us what we already know, showing 62, which is greed. And obviously that comes into play once we get into area highs. So I don't think it really helps with the breakout, but it helps show you what sentiment is, at least current sentiment, which again, I think is more of a lagging indicator. Reddit analysis highlighted Bitcoin's breaking its 2 weeks downtrend and retesting 106K. So let's see if it ranges between that 110 and 100. It hasn't really done that often where it ranges between 10,000. It'll lock in between like a $5,000 range, and you can kind of see it locking in, like 100 to 105, and then maybe 105 to 110. So we'll see exactly what happens there. Popular trader Michael Van de Pop sees potential rally towards 120K if that 106,000 area can hold. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. And the global crypto market continues to grow, Joseph. Last time we talked about it, it was 3.2 trillion. Now it's 3.3, with about 53.5% of that being BTC, obviously. Let's talk about the downgrade today on our friend Tesla. So not a good look here from Baird, or so they say. They downgraded Tesla to neutral from buy, basically saying that, the robotaxi, people have overly optimistic expectations around the robotaxi plans. Elon Musk previously claimed robotaxis could launch in Austin by the end of June, but analysts see the ramp up as kind of likely overhyped. We'll have to see what the real deal is. Baird maintained their price target, though, on Tesla, $320, which is about an 8% upside from Friday's close. The analyst who downgraded Tesla at Baird, Ben Callow, flagged the robotaxi excitement as already priced into the stock and says Tesla's facing growing competitions in AV from both China as well as domestic players in the United States. He thinks investors may need to temper their shorter-term expectations for these self-driving units. And there's also this issue, which I highlighted in green there, what they call key person risk. Obviously, with the issues now between Musk and Donald Trump, obviously there could be some regulatory headwinds that face Tesla. We saw plenty of that during the Biden administration. We'll have to see if that ends up manifesting in the Trump administration as well. Anything you want to weasel in before I go on?
Yeah. Just about the Department of Transportation. Apparently, so I was doing a little bit as well too, Shreve. Apparently, the Department of Transportation actually kind of likes Google's methodology a little bit more with the LiDAR and the mapping, opposed to just using the cameras in itself. So that's something that I found relatively interesting. I think that's going to be really important for Tesla.
Absolutely, and a lot of people have been kind of making that case that, you know, you got to have that redundancy system with LiDAR, and, you know, Tesla doesn't have that. They're exclusively relying on cameras and a neural network. Whether it's not proven yet, so we'll have to see how that all works out. China as well in focus today out in jolly old London. We got Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, and the American Trade Representative Jameson Greer, all meeting today in London, meeting with their counterparts, like the likes of Vice Premier He Lifeng will lead Beijing's delegation. Basically, the meetings are scheduled to take place from yesterday to the 13th. The meeting is part of this new China-U.S. economic trade consultation mechanism, which followed the Trump-Xi call that took place last week. Now, the Geneva Agreement, which has been, you know, kind of the controversial thing here between the two countries, basically is where the Americans rolled back their 145% tariffs down to 30. The Chinese did the same, from 125 down to 10. But both sides have accused each other of wrongdoing. Americans, for example, say that the Chinese have really been dragging their feet here with the resumption of exports of the rare earth minerals, rare earth elements, rare earth magnets, whatever you want to call them. And the Chinese, for their part, they've accused the Americans of really increasing the export restriction on AI technology, as well as removing student visas for students that are studying in the United States. Now, we got some headlines on the weekend about these Chinese students who were apparently trying to bring in this pathogen that could kill, plants and farming and stuff like that. So there has been this tit-for-tat exchange between the two countries. We'll see how it all resolves. We'll keep you guys apprised with headlines. Yeah, talks kind of, the expectations for the talks are kind of, you know, dampened. There's really not a whole lot of hopes here that everything will be resolved right away. In fact, analysts are thinking, you know, it's going to be more of a drawn-out negotiations where we could get headlines every now and again about an updated part of the deal. But don't expect a one piece, you know, a big, beautiful deal, so to speak, between the two countries. Apparently, it's going to be, well, we never really know, but analysts are predicting that it's going to be a bit more prolonged. Let's talk about Warner Brothers. They're splitting their company into two. We've seen this a lot with this old legacy media companies, where they take their legacy TV or their legacy media holdings and they put them in one company, and then they'll look to the future and put all their streaming services all in another. And that's exactly what they're doing here. Warner Brothers Discovery, under ticker WBD, will be traded under two public companies starting in mid-2026. HBO Max, Warner Brothers, and their films is going to be one company, while CNN, the likes of CNN, TNT, Discovery, aka the legacy media channels, all going to be on a different company. Zaslav, which is the current CEO of Warner Brothers, he's going to lead the streaming division, while the CFO, the current CFO that is going to be leading the legacy media company. The move aims obviously to give each business a sharper strategic focus and more operational flexibility. WBD seeks to better compete with both streaming wars and the shrinking, and it very much is shrinking, linear television market. And we saw Comcast do this as well. They kind of put all their streaming services in one company and their legacy services all in another. For example, the spin-off of Versant, which CNBC and other channels that we know are included in. Joseph, anything you have?
No, I stopped out of my Apple trade here, guys. It was at the low. The stop was relatively tighter there. And I'm not going to try this too many times. You can see that the momentum is to the downside, and I don't want to counter that. So the pullback that you may get, it may display itself. It may get that move that you're looking for back into the lower 202s, 205, 202.50, sorry. I could head there. I took my attempt at it. Opportunity, whatever happens. I'm still sitting in my IBIT trade, and I'm happy about that one.
All right, guys, OMH, I'm just going to quickly stop here and show you guys the chart on OMH. It is really going now. 199 high day. It looks like it's going to take two. Very aggressive. Hasn't touched the 10 exponential since 1 o'clock. So this is a midday breakout, and you can kind of see the volume profile on this one continuing to increase up and to the right it goes, even though it did almost no volume in the regular trade, or the earlier time of the day, I should say. This one really started getting the volume under its wing, so to speak, at around 12:30. So it's a bit of a newer trade, only trading now an hour deep. And there goes $2, 204. But I want to show you the 1-minute chart on this one super quick, just to give you an idea of how many times this is halted. As we mentioned, 7 times, 5 up, 2 down. So make sure you're trading this one carefully. OMH is the ticker, guys. All right, VinFast reported earnings today, and they were up nicely, double digits in the pre-market. Let's see where they're at right now. VFS, I think they were giving up a little bit of the move up. Yeah, still up 4 1/3. Not a bad look. Q1 revenue increased about 150% year over year, even though it was down on the quarter. That's likely due to seasonality. The net loss, though, did widen as costs continue to increase with the expansion. They delivered way more vehicles in Q1 of this year than they did last year, 300% increase. So they delivered about 36,300 vehicles. Compare that to last year when they delivered just barely over 9,000. So that's not a bad look there. Deliveries were down, though, again, as I mentioned, quarter over quarter, as there were seasonality issues. They delivered almost a bit more than 53,000 in Q4 of 2024. So good look there. They also deliver scooters as well, e-scooters, that is, about 45,000 units, Joseph, which is a sharp increase year over year. Again, gross loss continues to widen, though, as costs do increase with the expansion, but we'll have to see how they do next quarter there. Anything you have there?
Yeah, we got e-signal there. New traders, listen up. First month, free. That's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check that link in the description there, guys. All right, and then we got a $10 super chat. Gaurav, I'm glad that trade's working out for us. You can see that slow curl over here in AAPL as we head into 201.50. I got out. Happy with that. I'm happy with just following that rules. It is going against me, but that is fine. Now, do we have any news on UPS layoffs? Love you guys. Thanks. Yeah, we can take a look into that for sure. Into the layoffs. I haven't seen anything. Yeah, I personally haven't. I can pull up to see if I can see anything on my news. Yeah, you don't see anything there? No. So yeah, no, Shreve's got the same platform as me, so I wouldn't be able to find anything that he can't there. So
let's talk about Robinhood.
Yeah.
Because we were all of us yesterday or last week, we were pretty much of the opinion this was another candidate to get added into the S&P. Apparently, it was overlooked. So let's talk about that. Fell. Let's see where it's down, because it was down over 5% in the pre.
In the post market on Friday, it went to 80. Traded up to $80, and then it tanked once.
It's trading at 70.5 right now. It's down 5.8. So yeah, definitely market not liking that, but definitely not a lot more than the pre-market. It was already down 5%. Yeah. So it looks like the S&P Dow Jones indices decided not to add Robinhood, at least during the quarter rebalancing. It could be added next quarter. This comes despite heavy investor speculation and a recent rally in anticipation of that inclusion, obviously. Shares hit their highest level since 2021, more than doubling year to date, so good look there. Bank of America analyst called Robinhood a prime candidate for S&P 500 inclusion. He said that earlier this month. We'll have to see whether it ends up making its way in. AppLovin as well, also removed, well, not removed, but definitely not included this time around. So we'll keep tabs on APP and Hood. And just to give you an idea, to qualify for S&P 500 inclusions, among other things, you have to be U.S. domiciled, you have to be listed on a major exchange, and have at least a market cap of $20.5 billion, which obviously Robinhood does. I'm looking at their market cap. It's about $62.5 billion right now, so they certainly meet that. The United Kingdom and NVIDIA are looking at doing business together here in some way, shape, or form. Shout out to the United Kingdom. Looks like PM Keir Starmer announced a plan to train about 7.5 million workers in AI by 2030 during London Tech Week, which is currently happening right now. It includes about $250 million, give or take, for investment in AI and education, calling it a talent pipeline. So good luck. Jensen Huang is there attending the event. He praised the United Kingdom as being in the Goldilocks zone for AI due to its strong universities, diverse talent pool, and leading research ecosystems. And NVIDIA will build an AI lab in England supporting research in quantum computing. The government's also going to backstop that by funding universities and a national AI development pipeline. I love to hear it because we've heard very little from Europe about AI, so it's good to hear that they are kind of getting involved here. And the move it kind of aligns with what the market is doing in general. Oracle is already going to invest $5 billion in the UK AI cloud infrastructure, and SoftBank is evaluating whether to open like an England version of Stargate. We saw that announcement with Oracle Altman and Masayoshi Son in the beginning of Trump's term in the Oval Office, and apparently SoftBank is exploring other Stargate locations in England as well.
I mean, like we see in the UAE as well too, Sharif. So I mean, I displayed again the UAE. What a nice trade there, Gaurav. I'm glad that you put on that trade there on Apple because it did start to bounce. Timing slightly off on that one, but that's okay. Would have been a pretty decent trade, but that's what if history. But anyways, get back to what Sharif was referring to. Something like we've seen in UAE. So, in my opinion, again, we were so fixated on the fact that what is this H20 going to do for NVDA, considering that it cannot sell them to China anymore? Well, look what's happening across the board now. We got the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, UAE, and now looking to construct some deals in the UK as well too. So for me, that's just a blip on the radar that the H20 news in China, NVDA continuing to strike deals, and I think they will for the foreseeable future.
I'd have to agree with that, man. I just don't see Europe missing out on this whole thing. Maybe they're late to the party, yeah.
And eventually you have to catch up.
Yeah, and they got a ton of people there that are highly educated, highly skilled, that they need to take advantage of, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we know that the Gulf states have the cash as well too. So there you go. They're just starting to fire things up. So Jensen gaining ground and
there you go.
Market share.
Jensen's always ahead of the curve, bro.
Yeah, apparently.
All right, let's talk a little bit here about Archer and Joby Aviation. What a move they had today. You saw the Katina man involved. I don't know in which one of these, but he was involved in it. Guys, President Trump signed an executive order titled Unleashing American Drone and eVTOL Innovation, signaling his policy shift to support fast track for urban air mobility. I'll submit to you guys, that's just a cover for the militarization of these vehicles. That's just my opinion. So while short on specifics, obviously, as these executive orders typically are, the order did focus on accelerated commercialization, FAA reform to make these things jive with current regulation, and a new tech-friendly legislation, which obviously has to go through the legislative branch. The FAA now is tasked with selecting at least 10 eVTOL test routes, representing a significant regulatory milestone. So my assumption is that you're going to have direct routes where these things can fly, and obviously we need FAA clearance to clear the air traffic for them to make everything safe. The announcement could help streamline flight approvals and reduce bureaucratic delays. Both Archer and Joby are working through the FAA certification process, so good luck there. Just to give you some ideas about these companies, Archer hit a key milestone, justifying its $1.5 billion market cap with the Midnight aircraft designed for 10-minute urban trips. Partners include United Airlines, Stellantis. Archer also boasts about a $1 billion order from United and $3.9 billion in total order backlogs, which shows obviously strong demand. Joby, for their part, they're backed by a Toyota who just recently dropped a $131 million investment, and there's about $250 million in U.S. government funding that they already had. So apparently their financial runway is unmatched, says this article. Their first FAA-compliant tests are already completed, so not a bad look there, and they are looking at supporting the U.S. military as well through a specific contract. They also have deals with Delta, Virgin, and the Department of Defense, so they are looking at being a viable business there. Anything you had, Joseph, before we go on to Circle?
No, I'm good right now, brother. Apple's still slowly grinding higher. That's a good sign. You can see that IBIT is still hovering around those highs of days. We're up about 4% on the session, so that's a positive look. Amazon is just, it can't stop, won't stop. It's continuing to climb, exactly, 217.40, and then Apple heading back towards view up. I think that's one positive thing. And it was just off such a subtle signal too as well, guys. And this is what I was referring to. Gaurav was long there. He held it 40,
look at the
broke
5
that
on that.
200.
The 5.
Yeah, is that hammer there?
You're going to see the bottoming tail.
Oh, yeah,
you see
exactly.
that,
So there you go. So they're just counting, when you see multiple along those lines, right? So essentially you got to think of it from a battle standpoint. Sellers have the ability to push it, and then the buyers just step right back in and push it, giving you multiple topping tail signals. And then when you zoom in onto the lower time frames and get really, really descriptive, that's where you see it. That's one of the prime signals right there. Holds that level to a T, and then continuously climbing, looking like it wants to go tap into VWAP there, Sharif.
All right, guys. Keeping an eye on NA. We've got a couple more things to read on the news, but NA starting to curl back here. So you can see that higher low, higher high situation. Still well below the high of the day at 1187, but it's back up into 11.25. And in fact, it just wicked off 11.5, which we've had resistance at before. Have a look over here. We rejected 11.5, and even over here, when we cleared at 11.5, we were there for all of 2 seconds. And then we dropped aggressively, actually losing all the levels and picking up some there at 10.25. So NA on one right now. Let's see if it can take out that high of the day, but it's the OMH show. I see you, I can't even say your name. Yav Uskan, and as well as the OG Gorev, Bovin telling me about OMH as well, because this one is really going 238 high a day. It's still holding that halt level, I think, at 205. Keep your eye on that halt level. It could be an intraday area of support if we do end up tanking at that level. So OMH on one, keep your eye out on that one. But there goes NA again, right back into that 11.25. Let's see if it can clear 11.5. I'll be keeping my eye out on that. All right, let's finish up here with a couple of last news items. So Circle, as you can see, it's continuing to go. I mean, let's see where it's at right now. CRCL, are we still positive on the day? Yeah, we're still up 8.25. We're well off the highs. It was a 138.57 high. We're trading at about $1.16.5, which is below VWAP, but still positive on the day to the tune of 8.25%. Just to give you an idea, the lockout period here for Circle is 180 days. So if you're looking at, those IPO investors to start liquidating their positions, most of them, if not all, are prohibited from doing that until 180 days have expired, which is going to be Q4 of 2025. I don't have the exact day, but I'm sure you guys can look up 180 days from the IPO day. Kathy Wood called it an amazing debut, and her thesis on stablecoins is it aligns with Circle's dominance in USDC. We know that it's Tether and USDC that dominate the stablecoin market, with Tether holding about 2/3 of the market cap, and USDC here, which is owned by Circle, about a third, maybe a little bit less. To be fair, though, even though they do have a smaller market cap, USDC is said to basically be a lot more regulatory compliant than Tether. So basically less regulatory scrutiny is what I'm trying to say out there. Last but not least here, we got Meta. They're looking at getting into bed with a new AI company called Scale AI. This is reported by Bloomberg. They're looking at investing about $10 billion. The deal will make it one of the largest, if not the largest, private AI funding round ever if it's finalized. However, neither Meta nor Scale confirmed the reports, and both declined to comment. In fact, just to give you an idea who Scale is, they were founded back in 2016. They're a data labeling service for training machine learning models. They got clients like Microsoft, OpenAI, just to name a few. They have more. And they're valued, at least the last funding round, they were valued for $14 billion. Apparently now where it is, they could be valued up to as much as $25 billion. Again, hard to say what it really is for a number of reasons. Private market valuations are far different than public. Also, we never really get the full picture with these private market valuations. The investment would mark Meta's largest financial commitment to an external AI firm to date, and it also helps bring Meta's foot into the world of military development, especially in AI. We all saw that picture between Zuck and Palmer Luckey, who is the CEO of Anduril, another private company. Why the hell are they meeting up? What does social media and all that kind of stuff have to do with Anduril? Well, the overlap is AI, guys. So Scale AI is increasingly focused on defense-related AI applications. Meta recently partnered, as I mentioned, with Anduril on a mixed reality AI-powered military equipment headset. Meta's also developing Defense Llama. So not just Llama 3 and 4 for your querying needs, but now a customized model designed for U.S. military use. So Defense Llama is apparently out there. The collaboration signals a growing presence in government and defense AI contracts there. So not something that I would have predicted if you had asked me at the beginning of the year, Joseph, whether Meta would be involved in military spending. But there you go, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. I mean, just expanding his horizon is Mr. Mark Zuckerberg.
Get it, Zuck.
Yeah, get it, Zuck. I mean, we like glow up Zuck. We like him now. He's a fighter now. He doesn't really care. Pardon me?
Boy Zuck?
Oh yeah.
I love that.
Is that what the boys
that's what everybody calls him.
Is that what they're calling him now?
That's what they're calling him.
You see his chain in the hair.
There you go, bro. There you go. I mean, like,
hey, I think that's what you got to do. You got to just channel your inner Jeff Bezos. Once you've established that, it's time to go and enjoy it. So shout out to Mr. Bezos and Miss Bezos as well too. Now I think they're getting married.
Shout out to Miss Bezos.
Yeah, exactly.
They get married yet?
Yeah, well, no, I think soon in Italy. I think there's a lot of not a lot of people like that idea there. I think they're going to Florence or something like that, or whatever it may be. All right, guys, let's pull up just the notes here. This was my June 9th, first thing in the morning, right? Not complicated stuff. And again, once you've been doing this for a little while, you can just kind of condense everything. And it's the most simplistic plan. Like, I couldn't be more obvious. BTC trading high of overnight, gapping up IBIT, looking for continuation and strength, sitting on top of the range we were looking for. I mentioned that earlier. Possible higher move to all-time highs. We're looking for the underlying to sit on top, keep potential pullback range, trading above VWAP in the pre-market, wait for pullback through. Focus on tape, scan options, chain to see high levels of open interest, if any is displayed. All right, and that's what we were looking for throughout the day. And then NVDA was my second pick there, but I didn't take any trades on NVDA this morning. That supply zone at 145 rejected to a T, and it's heading towards the low of the day. I want to take a look at Tesla's chain as well too there, guys, just because it is at 300, 299.68 to be exact, I believe. I'm hearing we're going to get a dare here momentarily. I want to take a look at Tesla's options chain if there's any open interest at 300 before we send it over to Adara. 9,000 contracts on this week's expiration cycle at 300, guys. Small potatoes. Tesla can chew that up like nothing. Let's see what Adara's got for us.
So you guys know here, Donald Trump set to speak at this Invest America roundtable. I was initially seeing the schedule to kick off at 2. Now apparently it's going to start at 2:10. So this could be significant here. This is just the market, because we have heard a report here from Washington Post that CEOs from some public companies, including ServiceNow, Uber, Robinhood, are all set to attend. In fact, Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev confirmed on X that he's going to be at this event. So keep an eye here. Invest America Roundtable event. We should have some attendance from public CEOs, specifically in the tech space. Back to you.
For that, Adara. And shout out Vlad Tenev.
Get it, Vlad.
Yeah, exactly. Big time.
He's been getting it.
He's been getting it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's coming from the depths itself and then just recovered this name. Relatively nice. But there goes Tesla, Sharif, punching through some key levels. Now we're north of 300, 351. I told you that's not much size there from a strike price standpoint, open interest standpoint, sorry, I should say. At 300, June 13th expiration cycle, only 9,000. That's small potatoes. We see more on the put side, so 14,000 at 300. Could this act as a possible base? And then we continue to climb higher here in Tesla. And I was waiting, so I have a trade plan. I don't know if this is going to be the specific signal that's going to get me in, but I'm going to wait for some indecision off of those lows. You've seen what Elon and him were up to. Sharif and I were talking to, we don't know if it's what actually happened between him and Scotty in the thing.
Apparently, Scotty got body checked.
Yeah, he took a body check, which is absolutely crazy. So there was a scuffle between Elon. I can see him doing that, not liking something, and then just diving his shoulder into Scott.
But like he would probably play it off.
Yeah,
or do you think he would
I think
actually eye him down?
Yeah, I think
but you could see Elon eyeing down the Treasury Secretary.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
You don't think so?
No.
And there's just dropping his shoulder in it?
I think he could plausible deniability.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But
check,
apparently they were separated as well too. Apparently they got separated, and then obviously Donald siding with Scott. So.
I figured, he had beef with Navarro because we saw the beef openly between Navarro and Musk, but I didn't hear anything about Bessent.
And Scott, right?
So and I don't know if Bessent would really diverge with Elon on the government cuts because they're both from that finance background.
Yeah.
I have no idea. That's super interesting.
Super interesting. So that's
whatever.
That's what started the rift, I guess, between him and Donald. But it is what it is. I mean, very interesting stuff, and we'll be continuing to cover that there. Whether it's true or not, obviously, it'd be really nice to be a fly on the wall when that happened. But yeah, boys will be boys. That's the thing. I can see Elon getting frustrated because you've seen what happened with his X post after that. So there you go. That's Tesla finding a nice bottom. This could be a solid signal to get involved in. 300, even to 275s. That's a really, really good time to get involved in this. We'll look to swing this maybe. I was thinking about TSLL, but then obviously when I'm game planning and setting up my swing trades, I'm like, you know what? Even though I do want to leverage the potential trade, it's not good because that's double decay, and I don't necessarily want that, trading a derivative of a derivative. So maybe I'll avoid that, and I'll just have to go shares. But I'm still sitting in this IBIT trade, guys. We only got 5 minutes left. I've been in this position throughout the whole session for you guys, just letting this thing cook up, continuing to climb, establishing new highs of days. I also grabbed the contract this morning as well too. That turns to be working out relatively nice. But just again, and a lot of traders. I wonder how your boy RC did on that one, the KLTO, because it's up 700%. Today.
RC? We'll find out after.
We'll find out after. So I'm curious to that. But again, what I was getting at with that point there, guys, is just you can come with all these plans. We talk about it here. I know Sean talks about it. Neil talks about it. Shreve talks about it. You can write down all these plans, but if you don't start to execute, then those plans essentially mean nothing. And 100%. That's what I just try to display here is that, okay, I have these plans, I talk about them, and then I also try to execute on them as well too. Whatever happens, then it happens. I win or lose. I've been in this game for over 4 years now, Sharif. So I'm getting extremely more comfortable with just losing because I think you have to be a really good loser.
You just have to be able to take it.
Continuously on the chin. Like it's like, and then eventually you're just like, oh, okay, whatever. Even though it's not whatever, but.
All right, guys. I don't know what you're talking about, Skull. Anyway, NA. Continuing to go, so let's cover the positions that we're currently in. NA has 3 topping tail candles all into about 11.5, so there's clearly a seller here at 11.5. We have this one at 10.29 because we did add on that dip into the volume weighted average price, but here we go again, looking to come back into that 11.5. We've had lots of rejections there, once, twice, 3, 4, 5, with one brief moment that we spent above 11.5. That took us to 11.87. We're showing the $0.50 now on the level 2. So there we go, moving up above the $0.50, at least for the moment there on the ask at 11.53. The bid showing me 11.50. So let's see if we can continue to go here on NA. Let's keep going here. There's other trades that we need to cover. KWM, where are we involved with this one? 5.05. This one's about to take out the high of the day at 5.34. Good look here. Light on liquidity here for KWM, much as the same with NA. They're both light on liquidity, so trade them carefully. NA has a wider spread than KWM. This one has got a 3-penny spread, so let's see exactly what we get here on this one, and we'll set up some orders to the high side here at just in front of 540. So KWM on one right now. KLTO, keeping an eye on this one. It just went the beak there at 60s, but this one has been in a consolidative range essentially since 12:35 onward. So we're going on an hour and a half right now of this one finding support generally at that $1.40. It's breached it. It's been in the mid-30s, but it seems to work its way right back above 40s. And for the most part, it's rejected 150. There have been these outliers like the print that I got there at 160, but for the most part, it's been locked in an hour and a half range. Whether or not it's above 600%, it is currently trading in a range. Last but not least, CTXR. This one has been straddling VWAP, I want to say, since it got down to it at 120. So we are going on now 40 minutes of this one holding up at that volume weighted average price, not losing it on any closing print on the 5. Now it has wick below it. So if you put your stop right below VWAP, you likely got stop hunted. But when you look at where the candle closed, they all close above that volume weighted average price. Let's see if this one can start curling. We've been talking about this one finding the curl effect. It hasn't quite yet, so keep your eye on this one. It's still a big winner on the day, up 107%, so good look for this one. So keep your eye on all these ones right now as we wind down the show and the big kahunas look to take over. To me, it's NA, KLTO, KWM, and CTXR, with obviously the one that we didn't trade at all OMH being the biggest and the baddest of the bunch right now, up 250%. But this one's had a lot of trouble staying open. That's why the volume is low. Most of the time, it was halted for 5-minute periods. There were never 10-minute halts here, with the last halt being a down halt, still holding that halt level, though. In fact, holding above $2. I'm talking about OMH, up over 200%. And last but not least here, guys, I wanted to mention one that I had on my side chart all day, but didn't get traded, UNCY. I see you guys talking about that now. The reason I didn't get involved in this one, it got into 110 and then just could not hold that $1 area and did dip down below the volume weighted average price, trying to curl up above VWAP now, but that's, you know, kind of not the big deal. The big deal is whether or not it can clear that dollar and stay above $1. It's a different trade north and south of $1, so keep your eye on those ones, Joseph. That's all I've got for now. Leave him with a thought, my man.
Yeah, okay, so Katina Man short Apple there. Yeah, leave him with a thought. I literally traded 2 names today, guys. This is going to be my 1 Apple trade. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for us. It is what it is. We don't cry over spilt milk. Oh. And then here we go. This was, again, 3 complete entries on the day. This was my first one. Started 0 for 1, and then there we go. We just got aggressive there with the second entry there on Apple and been sitting in it for...
Oh, it's Iga Howren.
Iga Howren.
Iga Howren, okay, dropping 99.
Hot dog, too.
Hey.
He wants the hot dog cannon. I think that's what that means, the hot dog cannon.
Can we give him the hot dog cannon, Katina Man, before we start the show?
Yeah.
That's so funny. All right, guys, it was a good one today. All right, we're
hot
sending
dogs, Jackie.
Hot dogs.
Or corn dogs. It's corn dogs, Jackie. Corn dogs.
I'm assuming that's from a movie or something.
Yeah, corn dogs.
All right. I have no idea what's going on. Woo, over my head.
Yeah.
Time to go to the Bitcoin. We'll see you guys, everybody at the green screen.
I don't get that movie reference, but corn dogs are delicious, so that's fine by me. Oh, Semi-Pro. Yeah, okay, fine. Jackie Moon, Semi-Pro. I've only seen that movie